Hello Homeworthy, I am Marie Daâge. I'm going to bring you around in my family house, country house in the Loire Valley. Come with me.
Bonjour Homeworthy, je suis Enrica and welcome dans ma maison en Provence.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Alice.
And I'm Don.
Welcome to our home in Provence.
Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
The first time I came here, I think I was about 16 or 17. I was far away from thinking that one day it would be my house, because it was a weekend of friends and my future husband organized this weekend with his brother. So we were a group of 12 friends enjoying a weekend. The second time I came here, it was when I was engaged. And I remember I really had a strong feeling from this house. And for me, a house has got a soul. It's like a human being, really. And I think this house has very, very good bones, very good vibes. I immediately feel well here. Hello Homeworthy, I am Marie Daâge. I'm going to bring you around in my family house, country house in the Loire Valley. Come with me.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hello, I am Marie Daâge. You may remember a little film we did together with Homeworthy some years ago in my Parisian apartment. Marie Daâge created 35 years ago my company, which started with a big love of porcelain decoration, colors, fascinated by fabrics. And since 35 years, we build collections and collections and create fantastic tables, bespoke tables. Today, Marie Daâge is a family business because I have two daughters who joined me and a son-in-law, so it's growing. And, but still, every single piece, plate, cup, fully hand-painted. So that's really our identity. We love authentic and artisanal things, as you will see also in this house reflected. Today we are in a family old house in the Loire Valley. This house is in the family since 7 generations. It was bought by a grand ancestor. At the beginning it was much smaller. It was like a little hunting rendezvous. We don't know exactly the story. It may be 16th, 17th century. So this ancestor bought this house, and his son made an extension in the beginning of the 19th century. He did the towers, and he did the main part of the house. So the house, how it looks today, is about from the 1840 year. I never really count how many rooms are in this house, but there may be maybe 30, I guess 30, about 15 bedrooms. It has always been a big family house where, you know, the ancestors were very generous. I know that they were very loved by the people of the village. The one who enlarged the house did construct nearly half of the village. So they were always welcoming a lot. And there are very good bones in this house, I must say, because these were very generous people. So this house, belongs our house 15 years ago when my parents-in-law make the transmission. And that's when we started to make some renovation, because nothing had been done since the 19th century, so you can imagine. So little by little, the electricity, everything has to be redone. So today we have done one part, and we are slowly going on in the renovation. My passion for decoration could be really here, find a good ground to express. So it was a lot of fun. My husband loves also everything about architecture, so it was really a common work, and the children also had, each one has his little comment. So it was really like a family project that we had here, and still having, because it's never finished with such a big house. There is always something to do, exciting and sometimes not so exciting, because sometimes things are damaged and you have to redo, and yeah. But that's part of house, a family house. So Christmas time, where we are 35, Easter, New Year, sometimes big parties, the children organize. The last party was 50 people for a surrealistic evening for one of my daughter-in-law. So it's a house which still is very alive and never too big, because when you have 50 people who are sleeping, you know, they are all everywhere in the attic, and all bedrooms are full of people, and that's really what we love. So here we are in the entrance. Here you jump in the style of the 19th century. They loved, as you know, faux marble. So all the walls are with this orange-yellow faux marble, which has never been restored. The floor is also a very typical from this period marble, black and white. And for the rest of the decoration, you will find some furniture from the Empire period, very typical with these antique patterns that you can see. Same thing here for the sofa, with this black crin de cheval, horse hair covered fabric. And the doors are again very typical of this period that you will find in a lot of parts of the house, the faux bois. They had a passion for painting everything in faux. And even the doors, which are real oak, beautiful doors, has been painted in this faux bois. That was the tradition. Here we arrive directly in the main staircase, again with faux marble. And here you can see under the staircase faux bois, playing with different shades of wood, but everything painted on a trompe-l'œil. So here it's where we arrive, where we just throw our hats and our cap, our manteau and everything. So now let's come in the house, in the center room of the house, which is the Grand Salon. The Grand Salon is completely authentic, has never been changed, so you will really see how it was since this very, very long time. We will have to renovate because a lot of things has to be done. But anyway, here we are in the style Louis XV salon. As I told you, it was built in the early 19th century, but it was very elegant to have the style of Louis XV. That you can see on the chimneys, Louis XV chimneys in white marble, and all the woodwork on the walls. It's very much a little Rococo style of the Louis XV period. Here, the furniture, it's very much Empire period, very lovely lighting in bronze, with again this very antique motif, very in love in the Napoleon period, because Napoleon, you know, he was fascinated by the antique period. It becomes an empire. On the mirror, you can see an impact. The story of the family says that it was during the war when the house was, there was some German living here, the German army, who kept the house, and so there was like, they have had a little battle, and with the gun, they did that. I don't know if it's true, if it's story, maybe it's just when they opened a champagne bottle that they did that, I don't know. This is a legend, anyway. Here you have a lovely Regent mirror. The curtains are really the same since 200 years. So it is this velvet frappé, gaufré, we call it, so very, very old. And the windows hasn't been remade, so always very difficult to open and to close, believe me. On the walls, you can see the ancestor, François Philibert Descens. He was the one who extends the house. His father has bought the house, the old part, 16th, 17th century, and he had double the size, even more the size of the house. He was a very rich, successful notaire, député, politician, very, very big heart. He gave most of his fortune to the department. There are some schools who have got his name. So he was really a very famous man in this region of France, did a lot for the department. And his wife. Here, another owner of the house, Marthe de Lalain-Chomel. She was the second wife of the ancestor, the General de Boisdeffre, who was chief of the French army before the First War. And here you have a photo of him, so General de Boisdeffre. He was he was very, very concerned about the link between France and Russia, and he was one of the politicians and military who built the alliance French-Russia. He was very connected with the Star at this period, so very near the Russian Empire. Here we are in another part of the big salon, which is a little salon. You can see that there is a symmetry, the two chimneys, the two mirrors, so they are reflecting, so that you have the impression, which is very often the case in this house, that the perspective is huge, because everything is reflecting. The furniture, apart from this table, is here more Louis XV. So it's older period with this lovely table de gibier in gold and gold wood and marble. You can see a very, very interesting and original floor. Little squares. It's a fantastic work, woodwork, playing with a lot of sense of wood, ebony, citrus, oak. Very lovely, interesting. So here there's a big tapis which is protecting, but it's quite a remarkable work of wood. So now we go in the main dining room where all the big family rendezvous and dinners with friends are taking place, where all the most important discussion, where a lot of things happen. can be family fight or family big news. That's where, for instance, my two sons last summer for April stand up one after the other, and one say, I'm happy to tell you that Leopold is going to get married, and then Leopold stand up and say, I'm happy to tell you that Louis is going to get married this summer. So these are the places where a lot of things happen, and it's nice to think that it hasn't changed at all. Not a single piece has changed. The furniture, the painting, the ceiling, everything is the same since 19th century. So you can imagine how many discussion has been done here. In the cupboard on the top, we still have all the old fabrics, the old porcelain, which were part of the house. It's a very typical structure of a dining room with the niche that you can really find in most of the dining rooms, sometimes even with fountains, with some water, which were used for the glasses. Here we have this beautiful, very old Chinese potiche. And as I told you, wood everywhere. So here it's real wood shed. And on the ceiling, it's like in the staircase, painted wood with this beautiful work of the ceiling, and on each angle of the room you have the corner buffet, the main buffet, so very symmetric, where you have all the glasses. Nothing has changed in oak, same wood as the wall, same wood as the doors. And all around the top of the walls, you see also very typical from this period, a lovely collection of very old plates coming from different typical little production from France. And here a lovely picture of this hunting dog. It was always here. My mother-in-law tells me when she was young, she was always impressed by this dog. This dog hasn't changed, always here. Same thing for the furniture, also 19th century with this beautiful work of leaves. So a little bit troubadour style. It was a period where they were doing a lot of this. They loved to reproduce the troubadour period. So lovely work of wood. And this huge table, which can be much bigger. When we are 35, we can add some rallonge and make it very, very big so that everyone can be around the table. So now we'll get in table setting. So of course, I have the old porcelain, but I love to bring my creations. And even more, as this collection, for instance, that I have chosen today, are really inspired by historical documents. Here, this time, I wanted to be green. We are in spring, even if the weather is very gray, but we are spring. And the nature is blooming. You have this green everywhere, so I feel like I wanted to have some green. So to dress this table, I selected different collections in the greens. The background is this white tablecloths, very old one. As you can see, damassé with lovely patterns. It's a very old one. And for the table itself, I have selected this collection, which is Bouquet de Vie. The inspiration of this collection was a fabric that I saw in a castle in Marseille. It's what we call the Indienne. You will see some fabric like this in some rooms here in the house. So here I played with shades of greens, and each charger has a different pattern. I love the mix of, you see here it's more classic, this one very, very modern with this lovely play of color shades. So each plate is different. Same thing for the little bread plate. The common link is green, but they are all different. I play also, as you know, with shapes, because I think it's nice on the table when you have lots of little jewels of the table. Here you have a typical French table, which means that the centerpiece here, it's an old centerpiece. It's from the house, so it's 19th century. And I organize the center of the table so that every guest has got a little bit of something happening in front. It's not just a big bouquet in the middle, it's a whole story going around. So if you look at the details, you will see the little tulip bowls, which are used here for candles holder. You can see the little birds going around, so the tulip bowls. You can see my little vide poche, which can be used for salt, but they can also be used as knife holder. You can even put the name of your guest in here, so it's easy to find here, where you have to sit. Then also these very more contemporary collections are very lovely mixed with the historical glasses from the family, where you can see the monogram of the family engraved in gold, beautiful glasses, really from the 19th century. They haven't changed. And so it's a nice link with my hand-painted porcelain. For the silverware, it's an old family silverware. So you know that in France we always put the fork like this, the tooth on the table instead of this, which is more common in the US, England, other countries. Don't ask me why, but that's a French tradition. Here you have a lovely carafe matching with the glasses. So you see here, each charger different, so that when you put the plates away, you have the surprise that to find a new pattern. And I love to do that with all different shapes of plates. Always, when you go in the lunch or dinner from one course to the other, you can have a surprise of discovering a new pattern. And this is something which really was tradition, because when the plates were hand painted in the past, you never had all the plates the same. They were all different. And so this is not something that Marie Daâge has just created. It was something that was already made in the past, because plates were all different. And that is a lovely thing about hand paintings, that you can still maintain this. Here on the table you see some little flowers. So again, these little goblets it's a new shape for Marie Daâge collection. They are more for espresso. But why not using them for little flowers? You see, as I told you, it's lovely to find some little containers to make some little stories around the table. Like the goblets that we use very much for coffee or tea, or can be also for a gazpacho, for a dessert. But here I use them for a bouquet in the middle of the table. So really enjoying playing with peace, because really next time I may have a dinner and use my tulip bowl like this for a starter, and it can be very nice. So it's lovely, depending on your course, to play with your imagination. It's really having the fun of dressing the table, like when you get dressed yourself, so in a different way every evening, and using the same accessoire in different ways and mixing them in a different manner, so that they will have a look which will change. So enjoy table. And I think it's so important to have a beautiful table, because when you sit on a lovely and generous table, then the conversation, everything becomes generous, and it highlights, I think, all the guests which are around the table. So it's really a lovely gift to give to your friends and family, because even a family lunch, beauty will make that people are, I think, with each other more polite and civilized, and I think really it highs the level of the discussion and of the atmospheres. Marie Daâge, I mean, the art de la table, because it really started with a love of table. I started 35 years ago, and I was looking for some nice porcelain for me, and I couldn't find, so I started to paint. And slowly, with no real target, it becomes what it becomes today, because I started first to sell to Barney's, and then we worked with a lot of designers. What is very important for me is that each thing is hand-painted. I love tradition, I love handcraft, and I think it's important when you are French, you are doing in the French table art, to be very consistent with how things are made. So for us, it's really key point that each porcelain, each piece is from Limoges, and each single piece is fully hand-painted in France. We recently opened a wonderful workshop in a historical building in Vendôme next to this house. So this is also a nice extension of the story of the house, to have this workshop very near here. So Marie Daâge has grown slowly with the family. I have 6 children, so the family grew up in the porcelain. That's also how 10 years ago one of my daughters joined the adventure. She's a very great artist. She has a lot of taste and imagination and a vision for. It's a big chance for me to have her involved now in the company. So Marie Daâge, it's patterns. Today it's 99 collections, 68 colors. All the collections can be done in all the colors. So each order, each project for each client is like a bespoke creation. Because for me, a table will never be 20 plates the same or 6 plates the same. We love to mix colors, collection, so that from one lunch, from one dinner to the other, you can mix and match the patterns and create very bespoke atmospheres. It's also tradition. The inspiration of the patterns are very often linked to historical themes, because I think to have consistent collections, it's important that you have some roots. These roots, I find them, I study history of art, so I find them in a lot of documentation. So it's really finding the roots in the tradition of French art de vivre and French tableware. And so, of course, the art de vivre, it's a table, but it's also everything which around the table. So the whole story of a house, of how you entertain, how you invite your friends, how you organize dinners and the after dinner, before dinner. So everything, so it's like a decor for this lifestyle, which for me is so important. So Marie Daâge, it's really also this tradition and this heritage, French heritage, that we are lucky to have, to receive. So now I will bring you in another part of the house, which is the oldest part of the house that we have renovated. So here we are in the oldest part of the house, which may be 16th, 17th century, we don't know exactly. It was built on water. The house is called La Fontaine, which means the waterfall, and so it's a very, very humid part of the house. There is nothing under the floor, so we are always fighting with humidity. So we had to restore this completely some years ago. I love this part of the house. It's a very, very sunny gallery. We call it the gallery. We did some, we repainted in stone, wrong stone, which is a technique that is very trendy also in the 18th, 19th century, to really have this like outdoor gallery. The floor is a beautiful stone and marble work, black and white again. On the walls you can see some applique lightings. It was some candles, Venetian, old 18th century Venetians that we have electrified. Some two lovely consoles of directoire period with this beautiful turquoise blue originals that we haven't changed. And here a full, complete collection of Audubon books. Audubon was scientific, specialized in animals, and he did a very beautiful illustration of birds that you will find in my little dining room again, because we did something very wrong. We took the paintings of the books and we put them in frame so that everyone can enjoy them. So here the view is so romantic. You have the water turning and then the park with going slowly down and up again, and you have some cows in summertime. So it's very nice to sit here and with a book and to read, and you are in the sun. It's my favorite place, I must say. So here, you know, I love bouquets, so always when I arrive, I cut branch and flowers, and immediately you have a little more theater decor. This is a very old Louis Philippe, it's a typical Louis Philippe clock. So now I will show you our little kitchen, because this part of the house is a part where we can, in wintertime, heat one part, and that's where when we come and it's freezing in all the big part of the house, where we stay. So here we have restored this little tower as a kitchen. So here we are in the tower. It's a round tower, but the room is square. You can see how thick the walls are, very thick. So this is really the old part. We don't know, 16, 17, maybe 15. It was maybe a little fortress. The floor, it's original one. Again, stone, white and black. We have kept the old sink in stone, not at all convenient when you wash, because you break nearly all plates and glasses, but it's a beauty of the thing. On the wall I put again some, you know, like the tradition, some plates, but these are Marie Daâge plates. And instead of doing them very calmly around, we just throw them on the wall like this. The idea was to have a family of blues. Here you can see, quite convenient, all the cups and things that we are using daily, which are here on the wall. Old tiles, very typical French blue tiles, blue and white tiles. And then all this has been done in the old style, in this lovely grey blue, which is also a typical blue color of the period. The chairs are from Austria. You know, I'm half Austrian, so a little clin d'œil to my country, my mother country. So here it's a lovely little room when we are just two of us or not too many, to be in a warm atmosphere, which is, believe me, very important in the middle of the winter in these old houses, because also as the walls are so thick, it reminds the heat, and in the summertime, on the opposite, it's a quite fresh room, because when it's very, very warm, which can be in summertime here in the Loire Valley, very, very hot, we keep the freshness in this room. So now I will bring you to the little sitting room, our winter sitting room, which used to be the billard. Here we are. So again, as I told you, we are in the old part of the house. So the ceiling is less high. We have this very big poutre, we say in French, with a lovely work of wood in the middle to carry the weight of the first floor. This room was not at all like this when I arrived in the family. I love braconnier. I love Indian fabrics. It's a very 18th century style, so it has really a meaning in this old part of the house. And this is braconnier. Braconnier and the pattern is l'arbre de vie, the tree of life. It was a period in the 18th century. It was Compagnie des Indes, la route de la soie, where everyone was fascinated by the Asiatic influence coming from India, from China. So on fabrics, on porcelain, on furniture, you could find some Asiatic influence. So this is a very old document that has been reproduced by braconnier. It makes the impression to be also outside. It opens the space with these trees. So in this room, you have some much older part than the other part of the house. This very old chimney in this reddish marble. So what is fun is that the top is real marble, but the other part of the chimney, again, it's painted. So it's a fake marble. That was very common at this period. For the furniture, we have some Louis XVI armchairs and chairs painted in white. We have a little Louis XVI table. This is Louis XV, more it's a previous period, with this lovely silk from Le Lièvre, from roseberry. Again, something very typical of the period, matching with the roseberry flowers. Here again, a little Louis XVI table, chiffonnière we call it, and also here a little Louis XVI little cabinet of curiosity. Here we love to sit and we open this table and we can play here cards in winter time, because this is really a lovely place when the fireplace is very efficient. So when we do fire, it warms up very quickly the room. So it's a very cozy and lovely space. You can see I have here also a tumbler, because one of our son is a great musician, plays piano, but he finds that the piano now today doesn't work anymore because it's with the humidity, it's a disaster when you play. But he can do some battery here. So really a family room where we enjoy being together in a little smaller and warm atmosphere in winter time. So here in this corner you have a bird cage. It's funny because this bird cage, we find it in the attic. And in the 19th century, they loved to have birds in the house. I know I have even an aunt, she told me when she was young, in the middle of the dining table, there were some silver things where the birds, pigeon, were going and they were flying around. So it was a big thing about birds, like lively decoration in a house. So here it's not real birds, it's but I'm also a very big fan of birds because, you know, I live in the tropics, so we had fantastic birds there. Here we are on the Louis XVI cupboard in mahogany. with some frames of the family, the old grandmothers. They were all a lot were general from the army. This is a funny thing we find in some in the attic again. It was to cut the candles. You see, coupe mèche. It's a lovely little piece. Of course, we want to be sitting comfortable, so we need a little bit of modern sofa. So this very simple white sofa, I covered it with a plaid from Pierre with some ikat silk fabric. And here the Le Lièvre velvet, beautiful Le Lièvre in framboise, and the little ikat from Pierre here. So it's lovely to mix different styles, Oriental, more typical European, and this old Indian-inspired fabric. It is eclectic mixing. This house is about 2 hours from Paris, which makes it very easy to come for the weekend. Of course, it's also a nice holiday house. The area here, we are on the north of the Loire Valley, very near the Loire. We are, in fact, between two Loire, La Loire and Le Loire, which is interesting because La Loire, it's Blois, which was the town of the French kings. We have all the Loire Valley, which is called also the King's Valley, with Chambord, Cheverny, so very prestigious castles. And we are between also Vendôme, which is on Le Loire. And Vendôme used to be a Plantagenet city, which means more English. So there were always a fight between Vendôme and Blois. And so we are in the middle of this. So maybe this house, the very old house and the tower, the fortress, which could have been this house, was at this edge of, French and English. So I don't know if we are more on the Plantagenet part or more on the French kingdom, but it was really on this edge. It's a very rich agriculture region, which means that the village is still very, very much authentic living from agriculture, which gives it a very special flair. The house is surrounded by a beautiful park, which was drawn by the ancestor who makes the extension of the house beginning of 19th century, and he did a parc à l'anglaise, an English style park, which was very trendy at this time, very romantic, with a nice movement going down, some water around the house. So the typical jardin à l'anglaise. So when you live in Paris all the week, it's a big chance to be able to go to escape for the weekend. And so when we arrive here, it's you start to breathe. So in wintertime, it's a real challenge because, as you can imagine, a big house like this not easy to heat. So first thing we do is to do the fire in the chimney and open all the volets, to make the light coming in. And at the beginning, we are with 5-6 pullovers, and slowly, when the fire starts to heat the house, we put the pullover out. For me, also, it's nature. And I love when I arrive, first thing I do is to run in the garden and cut branches, cut flowers, because for me, it's very important that I feel well when all my flower pots are with flowers, and it warms the house. So often the children are laughing at me because the fridge may be empty, but I am doing my bouquet everywhere so that I can then start to think about what am I going now to do, and what is a lunch, and what how is the day going on. But it's the first thing is to take the nice atmosphere by flowers and bouquets. In summertime, things are easier. We are having lunch outside and really enjoying the park, playing tennis, and it's a very easy and welcoming house. Even if it's big, it's full of light. It's a very happy a very happy house. Maybe it comes also from the pink color of the house, which is very unusual, very daring. It has always been the pink house, the pink castle. All the neighbors, when they were small, they were always saying, "Oh, when we come in the village, we see the pink castle, and we know that we are arriving in our next stop." And we have redone the outside, and of course, we kept the pink color. Let's go upstairs. So this staircase didn't exist originally. It was built by an uncle because he finds that to run from one part of the other, when the children were crying here, you had to run there to go up. So it's like all the bathrooms and toilets. As you know, in these old houses, there may have been 15 bedrooms and one bathroom. So, you know, the different generation started to get the comfort a little bit better. But this staircase was a very simple staircase, wood, with open stairs. So it was quite ugly, I must say, very cheap. So we redecorate the staircase. We customized the staircase. So this we did and so now it's painted in stone, like the walls. So you nearly don't see it. And then we have made this done by a craftsman in iron. These we find them in the attic, beautiful flowers in bronze, so it gives a directoire look to this staircase. Here on the floor, it's an English carpet. The English are very good in carpets, in carpeting the staircase. In France, we originally have more oak, beautiful oak staircase, but this one was a very simple staircase, so we had to put something on top. So here we are at the first floor. The floor of the bedrooms, of the major bedrooms, master bedrooms. Here you will see in all those bedrooms, the link is the fabrics, And the fabrics are nearly all from the house Burger, Charles Burger, which I absolutely love. When I was young, my mother was a great fan of fabrics, and I spent days and days in Burger showroom, Rue du Mail in Paris. I could tell you the name of each collection. I think my passion for patterns and decoration come from this period where, you know, I was spending so much time with my mother in the showrooms. And as she didn't make her mind, she was always hesitating, we spent a lot of time there. So Burger, it's a very old French maison, and every fabric is done really in the exact way it has to be done, with an extremely rich variety of colors. The patterns are very deep. You will find a lot of these patterns also in some historical castles. For instance, this pattern is, you can see it also in Talcy, a little castle, one of the Loire Valley, very near of here. So these are historical documents, which I find always very exciting. It's like in my porcelain, very exciting to go from historical documents and reinterpret. And I think before, in the old time, people were much more daring in the way they were creating, because they were not upset of the quantity of the mass market, of doing a lot to rise down the price. Here it's incredible how rich the colors are. And you will see that in all the different bedrooms where we're going to go. So this is called the parrots bedroom because of the parrots that you can see here. So we did some little baldachin, you know, to remind the style of these old bedrooms. When it was very cold, they loved to have curtains to get a little bit warmer in the bed. So a baldachin. So also something that was much done in the period, that you mix stripes inside and patterns, flower and birds outside. So that is a very typical way of decorating. So here we have Louis XVI cupboard with a Renaissance mirror, gold wood, chimney in black marble, and with this lovely marble woman, you know, starting the bath. My little goblet that I use here these are some pieces, gold wood pieces, which were part of the curtains, the holder, curtains holder. So I find them in the attic. Find them nice to put here. Here you have some lovely English chairs and some of my Allée de Cyprès collection. And here a little cabinet, also Louis XVI period. So this is a parrot's bedroom, very lovely because, as you can see, it's at the end of the house, so you have double windows orientation, so it makes it very lively. You have the impression to be in a green garden here. So connected to this bedroom, the bathroom. So again, this we have completely restored. As I told you, there were nearly no bathroom. So at the beginning, this was just like a corridor going in the tower. So no bathroom. So we create the bathroom. Again, a Burger fabric on the walls. This very lovely little 18th century motif. We create like an alcove here for the bathroom, for the baignoire. So that you can have your bath here, and someone can go through, because here you have a little children bedroom. So it's convenient when the parents are here. You know, you can have your bath, and the children goes in the tower, the little tower bedroom for children. So let's go in the other bedrooms. They are all open on this corridor with like a gallery of painting. Again in faux pierre, no, painted. So this again was a restoration that we did some years ago. The little what we call Chinese bedroom, Burger pattern, Burger fabric again with the 18th century chinoiserie, very typical of the period. This mirror was not here before. We find that it was matching very well, the green with this fabric. This fabric is so happy. This room was quite not very happy, and so when we put this yellow fabric, it completely changed the atmosphere. This is a funny furniture, Empire furniture, which is called le barbier, because it was a furniture that were used by the man to shave. So you see, they were like this, not sitting, but and they could shave. So it's Empire, and this is also a very beautiful bed from the Empire period. The typical, what we called bachick, 3 bachick bed, very inconvenient because quite big for a single person, so it takes a lot of space, and too small for 2 persons. So this bedroom is for a single person. So it's, and there are a lot of this kind of beds, of size of beds in these old houses that you don't know what to do. You don't dare to throw them away, but they are not at all adapted for our modern way of sleeping because they are far too narrow. They are also often quite small because people were a little bit smaller than now. So it's always a headache to know what to do with these beds. But here we decided to use it because it has a very beautiful work of bronze here. So it was worth to show it. In the bedrooms you have often the la croix, the cross in each bedroom. Jesus who protects us. And here you have a beautiful applique from the Empire period in gold bronze. Very nice with 4 branches. Then we go in the what we call la chambre de la duchesse, Burger again, the pink little bedroom. So this bedroom was not like this at all because it was a square bedroom, and we create the alcove here again with very nice that you can have the bed in a warm atmosphere, and it allows us to create a little bath and here a shower. And this shower, the clever thing is that this shower opened on both bedrooms. So that, it was, I told you, the problem of bathroom, because very few bathrooms. So where to find space to put the bathrooms? So that's why this alcove is very useful, because we could create here an independent space for these 2 bathrooms. So you don't have to queue every morning when the house is full. So this fabric is also Burger, also an old document. I saw it the first time in this castle in Marseille, where I get inspired by my plates that I show you in my dining room. It's really beautiful. A beautiful pattern. Very warm. Here the mirror, also a mirror that we have bought, old mirror, because we find that the original one was not so interesting, and this room deserved a better one. So it's called a trumeau because there is a mirror and on the top a panel, a painting. So this is trumeau. Old aunt from the family. Then we go to further in the corridor, and we arrive on this space that we create some years ago. Here it was a very quite old and dark place with marble painted on the wall. Unfortunately, the marble was very damaged, so we have to take it away, the painting. And we thought, how can we have something fun? And there was some big furniture, quite black furniture here. So it was always a space where you were just going through, but not really enjoying the space. And we find this paper, XL, it's an English Indian brand, with the trompe-l'œil. I always loved trompe-l'œil. Again, when I was young, in my grandfather's house, there was in the billard, there was on the walls a paper, painted paper, really painted, with a whole landscape of Morocco, because we had an ancestor who was a diplomat in Morocco, so it was in the 19th century. So I can remember when I was young being in this billiard and being fascinated by these walls, painted walls, who were really opening on an exotic landscape. So it's a little bit, the De Gournay, Zuber style of paper. So here it shows you a landscape exotic landscape again. And I find that it was matching very well with this 19th century furniture, because it was really the period where there was a lot of exchange we discover cacao, chocolate, and all these exchange between the Indian and Europe. So quite coherent. Here we come in my bedroom, in our bedroom. So you will find Berger fabrics again with birds, with some toucan, eating a little strawberry. So it's a very happy fabric, blue, reminding the blue of the sky. We have a beautiful view on the park and on the water here. So the colors here are again amazing, so fresh, so generous. I have my potiche matching with the fabric. Here we create a niche to do the bed, to put the bed. This is a very typical way of having the bedrooms in the castles in France, with a niche, because it allows you to have the little cabinets around the niche. So I love the maximalist, I love the all-over thing. So you can see in most of the bedrooms, the walls, the bed, curtains are all, even here, the seats, with the same fabric. And again here also this idea of garden, you don't know if you are outside, inside, so playing with the space. The important thing for me in the renovation was to renovate as if it has always been like this. I think it's important to respect the soul of the house. I love fabrics, so I put fabrics in all the rooms, nearly all the bedrooms, even the bathrooms are with fabrics. I wanted to have something warm and really friendly, but respect the style of the house, not trendy colors or colors of the year. It was very important to have this respect of how things was done at the period of the house. And so today we are slowly going on with the renovation. Now we have to renovate the large kitchen, the big sitting room, but always in this idea that we want to respect the style of the authentic house. So this is really very important for us. First of all, I love old stone. I have always been a great fan of old houses. I think this comes from the education we received with my parents. I was living in Martinique, and when we were coming to Europe, my mother is Austrian, so we traveled from France to Austria. It was always a big journey because my parents always stopped in a castle, in a monastery, in a church. We never knew when we would arrive because there was always something to visit. So I grew up in visiting old stones. So I'm going to show you another one, which is also a very happy one, reminding the exotism of the birds. So here you have some pheasants. So as I told you, a lot of birds in the bedrooms. Here this huge bed is coming from the Caribbean, from Martinique. It was in fact my parents' bedroom. So bed, so in a colonial bed in acajou, so very high as they were, not very comfortable, but you cannot have beauty and comfort always. In this bedroom you have Louis Philippe table, coiffeuse. You have some empire cabinet. So, a nice eclectic mix of styles, and but everything warmed by this extraordinary, again, fabric. When you look at the patterns, they are amazing. It's an old document, again. So they really dare the colors. I love the way the colors are incredibly modern in a way. Very interesting. The desk is an English desk. It's a 19th century English desk. You see there is a little curve, the shape of the desk. Here you have a little painting of the house, very old paintings that we find. So you can see that it was really already with the water here. Here you have a woman with a little boat. So they were already enjoying the sea, the water. On the wall you have here a picture in the Dutch way of painting technique, showing a lovely little family. It's a beautiful technique of painting. You can see the quality of the colors and the way the details are given. I like the way also the colors here are reflecting the color of the walls. The frame also is very lovely with this ebony wood, black and gold. As a little clin d'oeil, we have our peacock, our pheasant, who just fly away from the walls and arrive here on the table. And here, from the bedroom, you arrive in the bathroom, which was maybe the only one existing in the house at the period. So it's a historical bathroom looking at on the park. So it's very nice when you do your bath to lay here and to have the view on outside. It's a nice place to have your bath. You can spend hours in the bath reading and sleeping in the bath and your book fall in the water. But it's so nice to have this view. So here we have some Venetian little applique in crystal and Art Deco lighting. And this Marie Daâge potiche with the Persian pattern. So you see, I love also all my little accessoires to put them here. So the little vide poche, it's very nice when you put your rings. If you want to have your, so your brush, all these are very convenient and make a lovely decoration in the bathroom. I think it's the little accessoire which will upgrade any place and bring the refinement. The walls here are fabric, which can be a little bit strange for a bathroom, but I think it brings so much warmness and sophistication that it's. I love to have fabrics everywhere. So here the curtains are like the walls, and on the wall you have these two lovely documents about architectural pieces, candelabra. So it was a study about how to design a candelabra, but it's an architectural document, which I find interesting here. So I will show you the last bedroom of this level. There are some more, but it will be for another time. Here it's very, very directoire bedroom, black and white, fabrics with this medaillon, Roman patterns, very antique patterns. We call it, so it used to be, we call it la chambre de la concierge. That was a tradition. Concierge means the gate man, because the story says that in this bedroom, during the war, the family, there was a lot of family coming from Paris, so the house was full of family because they were escaping Paris. And there was an aunt who came here, who lived here during this period, and she was always very curious. So she was always, as you can see, this bedroom looks to the entrance. You have the entrance of the house. So she was looking at what happens in the village, because our house is really at the edge, on the edge of the village. And so they were a little bit noticed. This aunt was not a very sympathical woman, because she was criticizing everyone and always speaking about people. So they called her la concierge. I don't know the exact name in English, but it's the one who is on the doorman, and so always trying to see what's happening around the neighbors. So this was the chambre de la concierge. Today, my grandchildren call it the bedroom of the swan, because there are some swan on the bed, and they love to be in this bedroom. I don't know why, but it's their favorite bedroom. And you can see some swan also on the fabric. Here you can see what I told you, the English comfort. In each bedroom, there was a sink, which was really the most incredible comfort you could imagine. On the chimney, you have this beautiful clock with the two vases in jasper. Again, the Directoire period, very beautiful, with this woman with a shelf. So I guess the woman is personalizing a river. It was very common to show rivers through goddess of water. And here a little group in biscuit, what I call you, I like down. So this is porcelain, white porcelain. And these are Marie Daâge, my stripes favorite patterns. That was the beginning of Marie Daâge, and some little view of Italian, Napoleon. In fact, the mirrors in nearly all bedrooms of this floor, these mirrors, we have found some old mirrors to put them again here, because they are not the original one. In nearly all bedrooms of this floor, we changed the mirrors, because the mirrors were very simple. I think it was not the original mirror, because this house, as I told you, have 7 generations. So from one generation to the other, things change. So we find that these bedrooms deserved more beautiful mirrors, and so we looked after old mirrors which were more in the style of the bedroom, and this is one of the mirrors that we have found. You can see all the curtains, the triangle de rideau, the thing on which they are hanging, are authentic. They were in the house. Some we have also found in the attic, because in the recent time some has been changed by a modern one, which were really not looking very nice. And in fact, the old one were existing. This was the original one in this bedroom. You see, it's gold, it's iron, it's gold, so it's really a beautiful work. You can see like a pomme de pin at the end. So all these are also original from the house. So these are all the little details which are very nice in a house which has never changed from the family. So you still have the little details that were used in the 19th century. So some were replaced, but put it in the attic, because there was a period where you never throw anything away. You keep everything. You keep. We have tons of apron, for instance, in the attic, because very nicely put together, but yeah, so they were keeping everything. We have also a lot of menus because they were keeping the menu, so it's very funny to see also all the letters when they were going to the war, writing to the family. So quite a lot of documents, which is nice because the house has never been sold, so all these old things remain here. Here, on the top, you see the wood, white yew wood. It used to be mirror glass because they were here. It was lighting the corridors that we just saw. This is something was very common in these old houses. To bring the light, they did some windows inside the house. Unfortunately, it had been painted by a grandfather or uncle, I don't know. So it was too much work to put all the painting away and find the mirror, the glass again. So we keep it like this. But it was a very clever way to light the rooms which has no windows at the time. They were clever. The little tables here, very typical because inside you had the night pot. So it was we have tons of night pots in the attic. Now we are going to climb a little bit more in the house. We are going to arrive in what used to be the maid's floor. In these big houses, how you can imagine, there were a lot of people working and they were sleeping in the house. Some were sleeping outside the big house. There are some houses for the gardener, people who are working more in the garden. But for the staff who was working in the house, the cook, the chambre, dame de compagnie, all these people, they were sleeping here. So we decided to restore because we are always looking for more space. We are big families. So here, we decided to do a little bit like a tent, inspired by La Malmaison, the house of Joséphine de Beauharnais, and the war tent of the Napoleon period, which is inspired by the Roman period. So we chose the stripes because this reminds very much this battle tent that you could find, that you see on some pictures of the Roman period, Empire period. And as the ceiling, we are under the roof. So the ceiling is going down. It looks a little bit like a tent. So we really take the shape of the architecture and play with the shape of the architecture to give this impression of being in a tent. It was a nightmare. The poor woman who had to put the fabric, she became crazy because it's an old house, so all the walls are not straight. So to have the lines coming in a good way, it was a nightmare. But she is fantastic. She did all the bedrooms of the house, all the tapestry. She spent a lot of time here. So here it is like the young, for the young generation. Often here we look some films, so we have a big white thing that we put here, and everyone is sitting here. And here you see behind we have the projector. Yeah, so it's our film space. It's also a space where you can play. We have a table here where you can play cards. So it's nice for entertaining. It's not the hottest room of the house, so because it's not heated at this floor, you don't have the central heating. So we had to we put here a poêle. I don't know how you say in English. which is from Alsace, no, from eastern France, and this allows to have a good heat because you can. You don't need so much wood, and it keeps warm. This is a tradition also in Austria. When I was when we were spending some winter time in Austria, we had in all these rooms these big Kachelofen, we call them, which are fantastic to keep the warm very long during all evening. You just have to put a few wood and it will bring you the heat for a long time. So this we create in order to be able to heat a little bit here. Because you must understand that this kind of house in the old period and were not used in summertime, in wintertime. It was too cold. I mean, maybe in the 19th century, maybe, but even, I'm not sure. I think they were living in Paris and this was open only in summertime. And this was the case until we took the house over. And even when 15 years ago, we were never spending winter here because it cost a fortune to heat the house, and even just 1/2 of the house because the windows, all the heat was going out. So since a few years, we have redone 30 windows. In the old way, it has to be nicely done, and it changed a lot the heat. So here, in winter time, we warm this, but it's still not so hot, so we have to be to look at the film, very exciting to get the heat. But the young generation, when the house is full, is sleeping in this level of the house. We had found some drawings of the park. I don't think that we have some here, but they have been. You see, this is, for instance, this. You see. Commune de Champigny. So funny, I just took one and it's and here it's an old document from the whole region, because as I told you, François Philibert, the owner, the one who has enlarged the house, had a huge territory. It was thousands of hectares that he had, and he gave a lot to the district. So this is more about all his land, and he has done some documents. So these are different parts of his land. Here we can see it's written La Vigne. It means that there were some vineyard. You see Champigny, so that's a village. And these are the different pieces of the land. Conan, it's a little village next here, and I guess he owns some land also in this little village. So there are a lot of old documents, photos, and which are. So this here, you see, it was in 1893. So there were always, this was the old owner, with his, like François Joseph, and always surrounded by tons of priests. They were very Catholic. Yeah, and the funny thing here, everywhere you find some lovely drawings, because at this period, people were painting and doing music. So it was part of the education to learn to paint and to play music. That's maybe also why they were so good in decorating gardens and house. It was part of the culture, this interest in decoration, in architecture and sculpture, music. All these were part of the education. So these little bedrooms, so as I tell you, it was bedrooms of the maids. So they have all got the number. Here it's room number 4. You have I think there are 18 little bedrooms like this. More simple wooden chimneys, And this here, so we organize these bedrooms for children, from the young generation. I wanted to make it warm, so again, fabrics. Lovely fabrics. This is again Indian, so this motif of branch and flowers going on the walls. You may have understand I love this kind of patterns, mixed with stripes, which is also very typical of the period. Here we have a little Louis XVI bed, painted, little bed. Very lovely. So single bedrooms for the youngs, and then another bedroom here next door. So it's a double bedroom with a very directoire fabric, like we saw in the swan bedroom, with this motif of goddess, antique goddess. The cross again here, and empire commode. These are Marie Daâge potiche, exposition universelle, and these directoire lamps. These are coming from Argentina, these lamps. Here you see again the chimney is in simply wood. So now we go in the very mysterious part of the house, which was always closed with a big key, so you couldn't get in. It used to be a library, a cabinet, where you had all the documents about the house, about the family. And there was a table in the middle to look at the documents. And I must say, we did something which is maybe a little bit naughty and criminal, but we absolutely needed a bathroom, because we have on this floor, we have quite a lot of bedrooms, and there was no bathroom. So we had to create one bathroom. And so we said, okay, let's do it here. We will still keep the atmosphere of a library, so we keep the books here, but we create this bathroom. So this is was not there. It's old. It's very old, but in the style of the house, and we create this alcove by using. We use old wood that we find, that we cut here, using all these old pieces from the old furniture. We try really to maintain as much as possible the old fabrics or old wood, and we create here the bath for the whole level. This whole level. So it's not luxury. It's one bathroom for 8 bedrooms, even more. So it was a minimum we needed. I asked a woman to do this marble. We thought it would be nice to be like in a grotto, and with some sky on the top. And so this, and the lighting is also again a very directoire lighting. They were copying the mosque lights. No, it's the style of the lighting in the Oriental countries in the mosque. It's a beautiful piece. I think what makes me love really this house, it's the fact that it has always been in the family. So it's really like someone from the family. It's like a grandmother, you see, because a lot of everywhere where you go, you can see that, and you feel that this has been like this when the Jean-Philibert de Seine, when I say 19th century, was living there. And the attic, for instance, it's full of documents, of old papers, of drawing, because this ancestor was very concerned about the architecture and the garden. So you can really feel that there is a link, a continuation. It's really like coming in the arms of your grandmother in this house. So this very lovely feeling of being loved, and that lots of lovely people, because there were some very lovely people who lived there, very generous, are still somewhere here. And of course, this is even more exciting, as I really feel that this house has been built and decorated with a lot of love and a lot of taste. And it's a very friendly, as I say, it's big, very big. Sometimes we think too big, but always very friendly and happy, which is so important in a house.
Bonjour Homeworthy, je suis Enrica and welcome dans ma maison en Provence.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
My name is Enrica Stabile. I am, as a profession, both an antique dealer and an interior designer. We are here now in my house in Les Tours, which is a small village in Provence, between Aix-en-Provence and Avignon. It's a beautiful rural area, and I love it. I found this house about 38 years ago, and to me it represented the classical Provençal building with rectangular shape, two big plane trees in front of it, and a well with water. But it was really a ruin. I thought it was exactly my dream coming true. And I said, this is it. And my family was absolutely against it. And I was terribly rude. I said, it's my money. I'm doing what I like. And then they all grew to love it, and they helped, because it was quite difficult years to start, to do all the works and so on. Now I'm living in the house since 35 years, but the beginning were not as comfortable as now. We had very little furniture. We moved the garden tables inside, outside, but it was also a lot of fun. It was a real adventure. I love this house because I put a lot of work into it, a lot of effort, and many things as well. So this is my wonderful big kitchen, which we use both for cooking as a kitchen and a dining room. Usually we have breakfast here and we have dinner there, or it depends how many we are. What I think is really interesting to me is this marble sink, which is one of very good pieces and special piece, which comes from Turkey. And it's really comfortable, wide. There is a lot of things which can be put inside. One of the interesting fiction I did when I started to plan the kitchen was that I really wanted tiles, because I love tiles. But I didn't want to buy all the same, I don't know, modern. I really wanted to, my first choice is usually old, antique, vintage. So I've been collecting tiles like mad. I used to go to London very often, and each time, because they are all Victorian, so I bought 3, 4, 5 in the luggage, hand luggage, heavy, and so at the end I had 155, and I put all on the floor to say ta 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 ta. The man who put the tiles on the floor said, I never did a work like that, because I said, no, I numbered them. He said, no, this is wrong, you have to do. So it was an incredible job, but I must say I was satisfied with the result, because its colors are perfect. I chose this color, kind of butter cream, and I like a lot with white and off-white, and this is a nice wall to me. I love baskets. I use them a lot for fruit, vegetables. This area, the countryside around it, is called the Vegetable Garden of France, because it grows wonderful vegetables, and there are very special producer markets in the evening where people who really have big plots of vegetables, they bring their own products, and you can buy wonderful fresh things. That's one of the big attractions for me and also my family. This is a lovely big table where we can sit even 12 if we squeeze, and actually it was a maquette table used because it can be raised to draw architectural or technical drawings, but the size is perfect for the room. The chairs, I got plenty, I think I've got 16 also. They come from an outside cinema, and I like green. The carpet was in my family, in my husband's family since many, many years, and in a house on the Lake Maggiore. And when the house was sold, I really wanted for it. It was big, and I liked the colors for here. This is a garden table, and it has twins, and the plates are very nice. They are from Joe Ponti time when he was working in the Manifattura di Laveno, which is a very well-known Italian china maker. And there are the gardener, the man who shoots, and so I really like the colors. This is a wonderful piece of Swedish furniture, Gustavian. I bought it for my shop in Milano, and I really decided that it should have been perfect for this corner. So every day I prayed nobody was going to buy it, because I really wanted to bring it here. And my sister were very upset. They said, but you put it so expensive. Yes, so perhaps it will not be bought by anybody. So we had a quarrel. Actually, at the end, we laughed, and it came back here. And on top of this, I put my collection of, it's called Terre Mélangée, mixed herbs, because these are not painted. It's a mixture of brown, green, different quality of herbs, and it's a specialty of Apt, which is a town about 40 minutes from here. And I really love them. They are mainly 19th century, from 1850 to beginning of 20th century. And I love the earthy colors. I think they mix together. And this is a lizard, which is good luck in Provence. And I really like my green lizard. I hope it will bring me luck. Also the chandelier, I have a few pieces coming from my husband's family. This house was very old and beautiful, and when my parents-in-law died, it was sold because we had our priorities. And I decided not to be electrified. Actually, it has got candles. Now they are very tiny inside because it's nightmarish to dig them out, and so at the moment it's like this. I like a lot wicker furniture, but the good wicker is from 19th century, like this, or beginning of 20th century. It's very delicate, and all my children, like this. So I'm very upset I put cushion on cushion because I hope they stay strong. When you sit delicately, they are very comfortable, and so I hope they will go on living with us. Actually, this big room, this was the stable where the animals used to live. So that it was just a big wooden door to have the cows or whatever they had to go into. And it was the biggest room of a house. While the people used to live upstairs, and here was more for animals and agricultural instruments and deposit, and so the living quarters were all upstairs, and the room were smaller but more warmer also. This is a beautiful piece. It's a cupboard, a Provençal cupboard with original patina, with gray, let's say gray-blue colors, and is wonderful to keep. I love all my china is, my best china is here, and I like to see what I use, and some stuff which when I started, I don't know, some pasta, some rice, I put on top of there, so I know that this needs to be used. And I got my cutlery inside, and it's wonderful. It's easy to use and keeps the stuff beautifully. Okay, welcome to my sitting room, which is also a pink and blue room. It all started from the chandelier, which is a Murano glass chandelier. And also it was a present. My husband was very generous with me. It was a present from him. All the things I put were kindly over, that came with focus point of a room, and all the pieces I put in it were related in colors to the chandelier. So I started with a wall, which were pink, and then here is a lovely corner, the sofa, not so comfortable, but nice looking, and I put roses. I started because I have space to go on. The paintings are mainly roses, which are what I like best as flowers in my garden. Then I have this wonderful chest of drawers. The blues are wonderful. It's a Swedish one. The colors is really incredible. I put a lovely painting of a girl who's reading Les Fables, le story of La Fontaine, Les Fables de La Fontaine, with a very classic French writer of 19th century. And all the children in school read the stories about animals and so on. So it was in the right colors. Then there is this stool, which is really, I covered in a wonderful Aubusson tapestries. But my children, looking at television, put their feet on top of it. So I was upset. And I covered it in a vintage fabrics, but the colors, I really like now the cover. Or perhaps I got so much accustomed. And even this, which is a wonderful striped pink sofa, I covered in all the linen. But in a way, the blues are so good for this room that is mainly kept covered, and so it can be, I got two same colors, so it can be changed. I tried to find also paintings. These are two ladies, both with blue dresses, and that's I like this. The mirror I had also from my husband's family. It's a little big, important, but anyway, I mixed with the old frames, small paintings, and so now at the beginning it was a little bit too much, but now it's okay. And then this is one of my favorite corner. The sofa comes from a Nice hotel where Queen Victoria, English Queen Victoria, used to stay, and it's a wonderful blue velvet. I put a lot of cushion on it to try to preserve, because sometimes the buttons comes away. And here I put all my ladies. They are all portrait of ladies in different times, different years. That's one of the oldest. It's also 18th century, and she has flowers in her hand, flower in her décolleté, and flowers had a meaning at the time. So probably the red flowers meant love or something else. It's a kind of message she wanted to transmit with the flowers. And then I found little corner shelves, which I really like. And this is really lovely Swedish, very small chest of drawers, but the colors is beautiful. And I put all my little boxes on it. The stripes are it's made in Turkey, and I really liked the color. It was perfect for this room. And these are both vintage or small Aubusson carpet, not particularly precious, but the fact they have flowers, it was really a good match for the color of the room. This is a beautiful boutique. The quilt in French are called boutique, with a border, and we've printed the central piece in a plain color, and it's a lovely blue color. This is a very, as far as period of antiques, this is very a mix. My favorite period is the beginning of 19th century, let's say directoire, because it's very simple, severe, the lines are elegant. But this room, absolutely the opposite, because it's a good mixture. The sofa is Napoleon III. This is directoire. That is Swedish. That is directoire. The lamps are Napoleon III. So sometimes I think that mix and match is absolutely a winner if things have something in common, like a color, you know, some, to me, I wanted a blue and pink room, and I think it's okay. But as far as style is absolutely nightmarish, because it's a great mixture. I chose Les Tours because it's very, to me, it's very well placed as a village. We are a few kilometers away from Ile-sur-Sorgue, which is the second antique center after Paris, Le Puce in Paris. And I used to come here before having the house to look for antiques, to do the big markets, antique markets. So I was familiar with the area, and I really wanted to be in the center of things and not to stay in a hotel anymore. That was a good decision. So my daily routine, it can change. It can change according to the days, because during the week, I really take care a lot of the house and the garden. Mainly, I garden in the morning, and I rest a little bit in the afternoon, and I love cooking, so the evening meal is important to me, and so I try to prepare a good meal. I usually have children or guests, especially summer times. But during the weekends, I stop, because that's all the antiques shops are open, and there are markets, both on antique markets, both on Saturdays and Sundays. And that's my passion, my hobby, and also my job. I cannot miss any one of them. So I said, I'm not in the house for anybody. Weekend is free, mainly in the morning, but it's relaxing time. It's my free time, and I love doing what I do during weekends. Okay, here we are in the piano room or the book room, and that's mainly is used by everybody who has work to do and want to study, has to stay quiet. My husband used to play the piano, and it was wonderful. Now both my children studied piano, and they never touch it. Anyway, I love this room. It's very good to sit here facing the window and seeing the garden outside. Gives you breathing space. And also I have this very interesting table here, which is made of elephant skin, I think. It's a dark burgundy and is wonderful. I never seen something like this. It is 18th century, and I started collect these red little trays, and it's papier-mâché, and they were done all in the 19th century. But the red is wonderful, and so gives a good color accent. Here on the top, I had all my men, as I had the women on the other room, in the sitting room. Here I hanged mainly men portraits, two comfortable leather chairs, and this is a very nice writing desk, also directoire, and that small shells and things, coral on top of it. I did this lampshade, I had them made also with toile de Jouy fabric, which toile de Jouy is one of my favorite vintage fabrics. I use throughout the house in a few of the rooms. And here are all the music, Roman prints, a concert, and a gentleman. I tried to be more masculine, but I fall over again on details like this I show you. But it's difficult to be restricted to one theme. Also, the chandelier is really nice. It's opaline, blue opaline with white opaline flowers and gold. And this is the second I only found in my life. One blue like this and one pink, which has gone in a house I did in Greece. And it's a very classic shape, but very, very elegant to me. So this is my entrance, and I really didn't want to have any colors. I thought, because first of all, I found this console table, and I liked a lot the gray, whitish gray with grapes, which is lac, brig lac in Provence. So I really want to do very, how do you say, refined white, cream, gray, all neutral colors. And that's a directoire painting. It's a lady, very severe, but gray and white. And these are two beautiful candles. And also I like a lot the octagonal directoire. They all same period, which is the very beginning, 1810, 1815, or even earlier. And this also is a wonderful piece from my parents-in-law, called grisaille. Grisaille, gris and white. It was on a door, as the one over there, which is that's Italian landscape with a lake in the distance, and that's a very good piece. And when I put, I love urns, I put these two here, and all the colors to me looks great. The table is simple, but the colors works. The only color I did, I thought it was a good contrast. That's come from a butcher, old butcher shop. It's a white thick canvas, but the red, it's wonderful. And it keeps a little bit the cold, because that's an old door, and keeps the cold outside. So the only color is the red. This is a very interesting piece I had as a Christmas present for my husband while I was doing the house. It's a cast iron, and the motifs is also wine leaves with grapes. So it goes very well with a console table, because it also has grapes. So all is old, but also means luck to the house, bringing luck, and I really appreciate a lot. It's not so comfortable, but it's really very good looking. So this is, let's say, my special home, because I was alone, even if I have a family I really love. My husband is no more here, but everybody was amazed that as we have a house in the country in Italy, why I needed an extra house in France. And I thought, to me it was a very important decision, because it meant that I, how do you say, I chose to do something on my own. It's something I think in life is very important, to prove yourself that you could do something when you have decided. And I thought for me it was a very good move, because of my job, because of my interest, and I wanted, really, I wish to make it to make the house beautiful, nice, and make it open to my family. And at the end, it was really a very good decision because they all love to come here, and it has become an important meeting point for all the family. And I proved to myself that if you really wish to do something, you can do it. This is a very good advice for life in general, I think. Allora, coming up upstairs, this is, let's say, one bedroom, my daughter Carla and her bathroom. And I show you first the bathroom. And I really did a nice, I love pink bathrooms because they give you a good, healthy glow in the morning, especially. So I put this lovely old mirror, and I really loved the plates. So I don't know, it's not perhaps regular to put plates into the bathroom. And a few paintings all about Provence. And so it's not very modern, but to me it's quite a nice bathroom. And then we go into the bedroom, which is a real, it's good because it has, it's a corner bedroom with two windows. The idea of the decoration of this bedroom came from the, you see, the botanical prints. I found 3 of them. This is one of them. And so the flowers are the leitmotif of the room. And in what I have, the curtains is in an old Liberty print, which I really love, carnation. And I also mix some flowered cushions. The paintings are mainly of flowers. So that's my daughter at the time was 13, and so she was very happy with her bedroom. I added this Susani recently because I thought it was so, everything was really pale and so, but some, to have a strong green colors would have given relief to the flowers, to the cushion, and I think it's a good idea. This I love as well. It's faux bamboo, wooden, treated like bamboo, and it's very French, typical beginning of the century, 20th century. And I put, this was missing, I put this, is very nice. This is also a French chest of drawers, and it was painted dark brown, but little by little and it became a wonderful wood, like a bit cherry wood colors. And this is English and so pretty. I think I wanted to copy because the shape is really interesting, and it's just small, but it's enough when she works with computer or so to have her own corner to do things. And all the chairs are the beautiful wickers one, and I really live in worries that they will break, my children will break everything, but so far, so far so good. It's difficult to choose a favorite room for me. I think I have 2. One is this one, which is both a kitchen and dining room. Actually, I had an architect from Aix-en-Provence, a very elegant and sympathetic man, who say, Enrica, this is the biggest room. This has to be the sitting room. I said, no, really, my dear architect, I have 4 children, so I want this to be the kitchen, because we are a family and we live, we cook, we eat, and so this is one of the best rooms of a house, and I feel very comfortable in it. The other one is my bedroom, because I feel like a queen in my bedroom, and I think I deserved. Okay, now we are to my second favorite room, which is my bedroom, where I told you that I feel like a princess or a queen, because it's really a very big size bedroom, and I have this wonderful, wonderful bed, which I pick up in Italy from a very aristocratic Roman lady, a princess. So now I sleep alone in this enormous bed, which is, must say, is wonderful, and I feel extremely lucky. I used a lot of old textile in this bedroom, and all things I love, the colors I love. This is beautiful toile de Jouy, as I used in the winter garden room, but these are in pink, and it's really wonderful pieces of cloth. They are a little bit colors a little bit gone away, but that's one of the theme of this room, is the pink red colors. And this is also the beautiful Susani on the wall, which was a Daniela gift for my very important birthday, and I really love it because it blends very well with the rest of the colors. This was my mother's chest of drawer from Italian, from Marche region, which has a tradition of painted, of beautiful painted furniture. That's my corner to read. I feel very good. It's a Napoleon III armchair done in beautiful old fabrics. Books, not too serious, but quite interesting. So that's picture, family picture, books, you know, garden tables. What I really like is the light in this room. It is west, so I have the sunset, which is something I really like. I really love west situation. Other interesting things in this room are the mirror, which comes from a beautiful house in Aix-en-Provence, and is all the leaves golden, but not a little bit gone, the golden green. And also the writing desk is rather interesting, is 18th century, and is beautiful, this kind of burgundy, light burgundy color. And this is a wonderful marble on top. I put all my favorite things, the bed, the mirror, the writing desk, and also the fireplace. I love it, with a little basket of fruit, and on top of it, tiny landscape with little terracotta vases. I mean, this all perhaps looks silly, but things I'm really extremely fond of them. You will see better when we go outside. That's an oval shape window. It's called œil de bœuf, beef eye. I don't know what, probably because it's oval and elongated. And as there is no shutter there, and actually I had to put a curtain because I don't like to have too much light in the morning, so to sleep longer. So anyway, the shape is so pretty. You will see later on outside. The three paintings here and here are all about, also on the sofa, houses and garden. That's one of my favorite subjects because from a painting you start to dream, to have fantasy about a house, a garden. So that's very evocative paintings. I try, that was also my husband's gift for a Christmas. At Christmas I always had beautiful gifts. So thanks to him I have a few very good paintings of my favorite subjects, mainly gardens, flowers and houses. So that's my bathroom, and my plumber was very upset because everything is old. He said, Madame, also toilette? No, said, no, toilette, new one. So we laughed a lot with my husband. That's a painting of my sister and I with all our children. I got 4, she's got 3, and it was a picture we made for Italian Vogue. And when the people said, oh, but where did you pick up all those boys? Did you ask them to come for the picture? So, no, they are ours. So it was because we were quite a lot. That's also a very, as the one in the kitchen, that is a fantastic marble basin because the shapes is rounded, which is not easy. Sometimes they are straight, and this is really nice. And also I found the tiles which are more pinkish colors. I tried to collect, to keep them aside for the bathroom, and here are a few ones, and also here are lovely ones. This one it's a pity it's hidden, but this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, and also here I had the same subject about gardens, flowers, some plates with pink and green, which is main pink, and some blue, which are the colors of this bathroom. And I must say, with the window on the garden, my lovely bedroom aside, I feel very, very spoiled. No, I'm very happy when I arrive here, especially from living in town, and here everything is so peaceful, and it keeps me in very good mood, which is important. I have 4 children and 4 grandchildren, so sometimes I always ask, please don't come all together because it's a lot, and so all the rooms are busy, and then the grandchildren want to have friends, and it becomes quite nightmarish. But I don't know, in a way or the other, they always concentrate in the first 2 weeks, I don't know, of August. So I decided that I really do, I love to have them, but we have to be a little bit independent. See, if not, I'm getting crazy. So lunch is independent, and I usually prepare a wonderful evening meal with the help. I said, oh, I have Alexander, who's a very good cook, the second child. So we do a very good team, and we decide our menu. And now one of the grandchildren also is, she's a very good cook, so we make, it's fun to do things together. If I am alone, sometimes is a lot of hard work. Anyway, everybody is happy and doing a little bit of help. Hi, so this is my grandchildren room. Actually, I have from my son Alessandro 2 twins daughters, so that's their beds. And Afterwards, from my daughter Carla came Alina, another girl, and she's a little bit younger. So Alina has a very lower bed, so she doesn't fall on the floor. And the two girls, the twins, have Flora, this bed, and Viola, this bed. So the three of them are together, and they really have a lot of fun. They love staying together. And so I did this all in blues, which is one of my favorite colors. And I mixed with all the chintz. Those are a little bit, how do you say, pale, because the sun here, summertime, is so strong that some of the colors, which were very bright, becomes paler. And those niche above the cupboards, there are two beautiful urns with shells. That's, something I really love. And the shape was perfect for the niche. I was lucky to find them. As I had, when I did the house, I had two boys. They are just 1 year and a half difference. So that was the two boys' room when they were younger, 15, 16. But afterward, each of them wanted a room. So the other bedroom, we'll see later, became for one Alberto and one Alessandro. And then there is the other one, younger one, was the one nearer to my bedroom because he wanted to stay near his mama. I put in this bedroom things I thought the children and grandchildren would like. These are all watercolors of the English coast. I think it's Cornwall, because, well, now I don't have the glasses, but I think, and so there are 6 of them, 4 and 2. When I really fell in love with this flower, but I put it here because I thought it was good color matching. And on that wall, on the contrary, and some of this wall, I put animals because my elder children, they really like, so there is a big sheep and there is a donkey and animal prints, and there we have, I don't know, elephant others. But it's kind of mixture of little things which could be interesting to children or even boys, and so not too feminine. That was the reason. So that's another bedroom. And when actually the 2 boys were more growing up, of course, each of them wanted to have his own bedroom. They really had a lot of, for school, they have to study, so each room had a place where to do their work for school. And when I found this fantastic painting, I really liked it, from a quite well-known French artist who died recently. But I thought it was really a good match with a writing desk. And here a small bookcase, mainly old books, but is nice between the windows. And I found this lovely cotton in a market, which small flowers, very Provençal. Small flowers are very typical Provençal pattern. So I thought a simple curtain could be good for this bedroom. It's difficult to describe my style as an interior designer. In this house, because it's mine, I did absolutely what I liked. I mean, there was not a how do you say, a trait d'union, a thread to go with it. I thought that each room had to have its own personality, or starting from a painting, that's a painting of Provence, and so it's blues and green. I like colors, I like a lot colors, so each bedroom or room has to have a color theme, which is the line to follow for me, both in the furnishing, but in the soft furnishing or paintings, whatever. So we go from flowers to blues to, I don't know, my bedroom is kind of pink and dark. I mean, it's always a colors, a guiding line to do up a room. And my style, I think, is more casual. It's elegant brocante. I mean, it's not a very serious, but it's more fun approach to interiors, to antiques, but it's mainly about charm. Charm and atmosphere for me are the two most important things. So this is Francesco's bedroom. He is the youngest son. When I did the house, he was about 5 years old. So he wanted to stay near the parents, our bedroom. So, and he had a smaller room because the others needed more space. And he had toys downstairs in the kitchen. So this is a lovely directoire bed with these shapes, and in French they call this the casserole. It's a kind of tureen shape. It's classical directoire motif. And later, when Francesco was growing up, I started to collect paintings about Provence landscapes, different ones. But altogether, I like to put them all together. He was very annoyed by mosquito, and I must say there are not many here, but to protect him when he was younger, we did this. That is really very useful. And sometimes he was agitated, the mosquitoes was inside, so we couldn't find. And anyway, and now it stays like this. But in case you have mosquitoes, is something nice. Anyway, I like it because it's bamboo, it's very simple, and you just hang it on. So we are going now to the boys' bathroom, which I used always all the tiles I pick up in England mainly, and and it was more difficult to find than the one in the kitchen. So I put the one I had all here. This is a beautiful one. It's a 18th century. And also the basin is old China one. I don't like hot and water. I prefer the mixture, but it was made like this, so I had to go on as it was. Then I added this small chandelier, which is really fun because it's a balloon, very French balloon with a banner's color, white, blue, and red. And also on top of here, that's the French République Française with the same color. So this was a very French bathroom, and the colors are perfect. So welcome to my Jardin d'Hiver. which used to be really a very good room where to store the lemons and the orange pots of the lemon trees I have outside. But when the family grew and two of my children got married and then had my grandchildren, I decided that I need extra space, so it became a bedroom. And I really love this room because it's a good room quite different from the rest of the house. I love the colors, and I was very much influenced by Johnson Museum in London, so I put some plasters, and I think, and then I put the small fountain that was very useful when we have plants. It is called Winter Garden because there were 3 windows, and it had winter. If you put a plant inside, they really need to have a lot of lights to live well, especially the lemon and the orange trees, to keep flowering because they flower winter time. And the floor is stone, so it was cold, and even the geranium kept flowering. It was wonderful to have it full of flowering plants. But also it became a very cool, wonderful bedroom, especially summertime when it can be extremely hot. These columns are I thought in my way that this was an architectural, it needed, as it is quite a big room, it needed strong architectural features like columns. These actually are 2 beautiful Russian urns, and I really love with horses. I mean, you cannot see them very clearly. I put the 2 columns beside the bed. I put plasters on the wall. So to me, this is a room has a strong character, but because of its dimension, high ceiling, quite wide, it can take a strong accent of marble on the fountain. It's good to have, when we had all the plants this year, you can have water. You see, it's good to fill the water can, which used to be here. So you can also wash your hands if you want. So altogether, I love this room. And then I love the touch of blue. The 2 screens with a beautiful toile de Jouy. It was a very good find because the color matches the blue of the columns of the bed. And actually it hides the hanging place for the clothes, dresses. This is, it's different, but it's also toile de Jouy, which is a very typical French fabric. And so we have a wonderful old example and more recent one. These are the things we do in the shop. We make beautiful, more complicated or more simple cushion according to the people who wants them. And so I mixed with stripes, and I thought they were really nice. And as the bench was really simple, the cushion gives more comfort, more colors. This is a very wonderful bed from Morocco, and it was made in Morocco for English people when the English wanted to have ornate things, and they had a net on it for the mosquitoes. So I had this through a friend, And I loved a lot of the colors, the blues, which in this room look very good. It's a pity it's not so big, but that it was the width. And so I made a wonderful matelas, très confortable. So that's a lovely bust of Marie Antoinette, and I really liked. And it happened, it's a kind of coincidence, because when transporting it fall, and her head came off like guillotine, but then we had it repaired, and you see, so it's a real Marie Antoinette coming back to life with her, like she had a necklace. So she's very peaceful here, and this is a good corner to me. What I really try to grow in the garden are mostly roses, because I really love them, and mostly things with perfume. With I like very much to smell. It's fantastic to go out in the morning in the garden and to smell the perfume. And then I like pastel colors, so everything from white to pink and a little bit of blues, which are really difficult, but I'm still trying. So every year is going ahead, trying efforts, some success and some deceits, delusion, I don't know. But this is it, this is life. Okay, we are now outside in the garden, and this part is the outside garden, the entrance garden, and the pathway is planted with olive trees, which actually they make a lot of olives, and we pick them up in November. And I have olives also in the field there, and some fruit trees on this side, and it's pleasant to have a secluded, let's say, you enter from the gate, and then you leave your car, you walk, and you arrive to our private garden, where we stay. It's like our summer sitting room. We stay usually most of the day here. Please come in. So this is a very shaded area, and it was great because the house is protected by the shadow of two plane trees, which autumn time the leaves fall, and so winter times you have the sun, and summertime you have the leaves and you are in the shadow. That is a very bright idea of traditional Provence. Plane trees give you a wonderful shade. I have a big cypresses. I really wanted a pink house. The exterior of the house is done in lime wash with a pink pigment, which with the sun, with the weather, it was stronger, and now is a little bit faded, but this is something I really appreciate. This is the well, and it actually has waters, and to irrigate the garden, we use the water from the well. Here are my hosta, all my plants which need the shadow are here, because they are very much protected by the plane trees. And here is the big stone table, which we use when we are very many. It comes from a very old church, and he has fossil shells inside. It's very, very, very old, and it was very difficult to raise it, to put in place. It was my first experiment as a garden designer, to have a small garden full of things facing the house. It mainly 4 squares planted with it's divided into 4 squares. Some of the things, some of the plants like it a lot, some like it less. Anyway, it's really, the earth is very good because we have a river nearby, and underneath you have water. So the earth is good for planting. The roses are beautiful. And one of the problem is the wind that is called Mistral and can be very strong. But now is a very good season, and I always try to come in month of May because the flowering is wonderful. And actually some of the roses, as are all old ones, they only flower once. If you miss the flowering, then until next year you don't see them anymore. The little fountains is working so and so. Anyway, it gives a good central piece to the garden. And then what I really liked is my rose walk. Now it's really the very best time, as I told you. I love roses so much because pink is one of my favorite colors, and they come in all shades of pink. So I make different trials, and I'm very happy with them. This now is a little bit, but see the beauty of how do you say, the stripes, the colors combination, and also this one which goes from cream to peach. I think it's really a miracle to me. The roses can give you so much in terms of color, of shape, everything. Walking through this on the house now is already flowered. There used to be that's a bank roses in cream. Now it's finished, but when it's flowering, it's like you have lace all on your wall. And then the swimming pool is small, but I really didn't want a big swimming pool, but put these 4 beautiful pots of stone. I love a lot about my garden, which is absolutely flat, which I think is great. The children used to play football when they to do any kind of games, run about, and it's also nice to be flat, to have hills around yourself, around the house. You see the window up, the oval bull eye. Now the month of May is the month for me of roses. That's what I think immediately. That I try, even if I'm quite busy with my job, but I always keep about 10 days to be here, to look at my roses, to see, with great satisfaction what is around me, to absorb the colors. It's kind of well-being, seeing the result after the winter. You've been working, you're preparing the soil, giving food to the plants, and then when you see the flowering, it's a fantastic satisfaction. I feel very lucky and very happy about it when I look around. You see my new tartan service, which I picked up a month ago at the market is Salin. It's around 1950, and I really think the colors are so pretty outside. We use green for outside and pink from inside. I have different dinner service according to the time and the meals. The word home to me is basic. It's my basic life. I think all works around it. I feel strongly and deeply to have my own home. It gives me the best feeling of well-being, and it's my roots, my personality. My house is myself. I don't know how to translate, but it's quite important. It gives me strength to go on, to do things. It gives me energy and joy, and I need to be surrounded by things I love, I created, I worked for. So it's something which is, I think, is the base of my well-being.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to Homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Alice.
And I'm Don.
Welcome to our home in Provence.
Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
I'm Alice Williams,
I'm Don Williams.
and this is our home in Provence.
Welcome.
We were very happy in a house in Loris, which is probably 20 minutes from us. But the problem was it had big tall stone French steps. And as we are both about to be 82 years old, we decided to get an elevator or move away from here. So we decided to move. And we found this place. Couldn't see it at all when we drove up. There were so many trees on the property. It was hidden underneath the trees. And because the master bedroom was on the first floor, it was a winner for us. So we moved in. But we spent a lot of time renovating it. And this whole room here is the addition to this house. We decided to be very American in France and have the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room all in one room. Whereas the French always hide the kitchen away and close it up.
You know, we look back on our lives and we've moved 14 times in our 62 years of marriage, and it's, how did we end up here? We ended up here because it's where Alice's heart is, my heart. We moved to France in the late 80s, and we're in Paris for a couple of years in, and eventually we decided just to move here and move into the Provence area, and it's
Well,
just been heaven.
I gotta say that we spent 2 years when Don was on assignment with IBM in Paris, and we just absolutely fell in love with everything that was French. And we went back home, and we were supposed to be happy the rest of our lives, and Alice kept saying, I want to go on another adventure. And I wanted to go back to France because I had met this charming French woman named Caroline de Gasquet in a sculpture class in Paris. And she was from a big family down in Aix-en-Provence, and she used to spend the summers down here, and so one summer she took me down here. I absolutely flipped out, fell in love with the place. The weather is so dry, fabulous. I'm a gardener at heart as well as an artist, and so I'm in heaven. This is the culmination of a lot of years of love and being together. And I am so happy here. I pinch myself.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our living room, and Alice will show you around.
We created this whole room because we needed a living room, dining room, and kitchen. And being Americans in France, we decided that we were going to put it all together. This is a painting that means a hell of a lot to me because I hired a photographer in Atlanta, Georgia, a videoer, to come and video me painting an interior, a still life, and a figure. The reason being I wanted to be able to paint these for my students, sell them the videos, and then they could learn how to do those three things. This was my interior, and the first day went swimmingly. I painted a figure. The second day went great. I painted a still life. And then at the end of the second day, he said, I gotta leave. I gotta leave in the morning. I said, what? You can't leave in the morning. I have hired you for 3 days. I need to do an interior. He said, okay, I'll give you the morning. And then I'm leaving. I painted this in 2.5 hours. That is a stretch, folks. I mean, I never paint even one painting, and now maybe a small one, but never one that size. And don't ask me, I think the muse was with me, but when I finished it in front of him, in front of his camera, I didn't have to do another thing. All these paintings are special to me. I painted this, I painted that. I was a portrait painter for 12 years, and I had to practice on figures all the time in order to be good when I was in front of a client. So these two are mine. This is from an artist in Knoxville, Tennessee. And these two, we went into my favorite gallery in Santa Fe. And the man came up, and he was ever so nice, ever so genteel, and he said, oh, we have a Kobayashi featured today. I said, Kobayashi, are you kidding me? Because Kobayashi and Lipke were the two most influential American living artists for me. They're fabulous. And so Don said, blankety blank, you're not buying a painting. And I said, blankety blank, I am buying a painting. And I ended up buying two. One that was on sale, and I didn't realize until I got it home and hung it up that there's a chicken or rooster on the bottom of the painting. I was infatuated with the yellow, orange, and brown hair. And this one was a resale up on the second floor. And I just think that the fabrics, his patterns, look at the dark green against the blue. Look at the turquoise in the subdued blue. Look at the stripe of the pants. Look at the stripe of the pillows. I mean, unbelievable. Look at the pale blue with her orange hair. Incredible. It's inspiration for me to this day.
This fireplace is a Mumford fireplace designed by Mumford, and is for places that don't have much space and they put out a lot of heat. And so we put this in, we put the fireplace in, put this in, which was incredible. But if you look at the bottom down here, I've got my wood that I used to start the fire. And what I've done is, when we ship a painting, if we ship a painting of Alice's from France to the United States, I take it off of the stretcher strips, roll it up, and then I ship the painting rolled up in a tube to the States. I then have these stretcher strips, which I turn around and use, as I do here, as my kindling. And so that
Waste not, want not.
is a beautiful use of. So we love the fireplace.
It was a production. There was a huge machine that came in, brought this stone, set it on these things, and it was done. It was amazing what they did to bring this in. It looked like it was rehearsed and easy. This is a painting I did of Hetty ten Bos, who was a Dutch lady who decided to befriend me and paint with me all the time. And I loved her dearly. She was Dutch, and she was obviously from a very wealthy family because she had these huge rocks on her fingers and always a mink stole around her that had nicks of paint on it. She was a story in herself. And this is her dining room, and she looked out this window onto a field of wheat, and she used to say, "It's Van Gogh's window. Van Gogh painted them." Anyway, it was lovely.
She lived to 104, and we loved her dearly. She was.
We have many Hetty stories that are worth it. They are sweet. This is a painting. You know, as I said, I was a portrait painter. I had to practice on models all the time, and this is one that I practice on in front of a lot of people, actually. And we brought this painting in. It was sitting right here, and I thought, hey, it's the same size as the TV. Couldn't we just hide the TV? I hate TVs.
So that's what we do during the day.
Every day. Okay, so this is a painting that I did practicing on a model because I had to perform very well doing a portrait of somebody. And I got so nobody wanted to buy a painting of a model front on. But, you know, if I faced her away, then it might be a sale. Anyway, so I had a good time painting this. I love this painting. I love everything about it. I love the lime yellow, this color, and then this color, and the three together. And the fact that you can see her, but you can't really see her face. I love to live with it. And then the silver service is really interesting because in the years of the Civil War, my great-great-grandparents lived on a plantation called Puddle Duck and in Virginia, in the countryside. And back in those days, Sherman would come and put salt on the fields so the poor southern people couldn't grow anything anymore. But they would also steal all the silver in the house. And many a silver was found because the northern soldiers would pull up the floorboards in the dog run meaning from the front to the back door, and that's where everybody hid their silver. Well, my family, for some reason, thank God, maybe they heard, they hid this silver service in the hedge outside, and the Sherman's troops did not find it. And it was made in Charleston, South Carolina in the 1700s. So I just want you to see, this is back then, this was a sugar bowl. Can you believe that? This was the size they used for sugar. I told Stephanie, our designer and builder, that I wanted low ceilings. I feel very uncomfortable in high ceilings. I feel like all the heat's up there and it's not down here where we need it. And low ceilings mean comfort to me, coziness. So, and she said, what between the beams? And I said, oh, I love that stuff that they do in France. And this company, it was the last company in France, in Provence, that was making this kind of ceiling. And it was, there was not another company that would do it. So we feel like we've got something really special here.
This company that was doing the ceiling was a multi-generational company. They'd been in business for 4 or 5 generations. They went out of business, I guess, because they couldn't get any kids wanting to continue it. And this happens to be, and they were a very famous company for this ceiling. This happens to be the last ceiling. We didn't know it when they did it. The last ceiling that they did, and then they shut down. So we're pleased so much with the ceiling, but the story is just, to us, is incredible. Yeah.
This was my mom's. I grew up with it. It was in the dining room. And actually, I'm going to insert this. This is called Bowie China. My mama always said, Alice, it's Bowie China. Well, it's Bowie spelled B-O-W-I-E, like the English Bowie, or is it spelled B-O-U-I-E? To this day, I do not know it. If somebody sees this and can tell me where this came from, I would be most ever grateful. I think it's French, but it could be English. At any rate, this was my mom's china cabinet. We brought it with us for 60 years, everywhere we live, and I love it. Budget-wise, this is travertine. It's great. It's satisfactory. It's not expensive. But I said to Stephanie, our designer, I said, Stephanie, I really want old tiles in the kitchen. Can you do that? She said, Alice, it's very expensive. I said, I don't care. I just want old tiles in the kitchen. She said, okay, dear, let's separate it with a line of tiles. All old-fashioned tiles, but newly painted, newly manufactured. And so I thought, oh, well, she's going to do it right down the middle, right down the division of the kitchen to the dining room. No, Alice, come on, let's get creative. So she did it all the way from that wall through to the refrigerator.
You know, I am left-brained, and when you start talking about the design and implementation and painting here, furniture here, there, and what have you, it's like French. I don't have a dog in that fight. I really don't.
Thank God.
And
so I get to do it.
I give everything to her, and we've done it so many times. I don't even try to influence her, quite frankly, because it always turns out perfect for me. It's expensive for her, but it's perfect for me.
It's so easy to spend money. I drew this whole thing out, rather badly, but I did it. And because I wanted the sink in front of the window, and look at that view. It's absolutely fabulous. And I wanted the stove very close to the sink. That's a Smeg stove with a lot of different eyes and a very hot but good cooktop. This is big enough for people to sit and eat and be part of the person cooking, which I love very much. That's a favorite piece of furniture of mine. My brother bought it from a good friend, and the reason it's special is because it's American made, and things that are this old are seldom from America, they're from Europe. But this one was American made, and I think it's fabulous. This kitchen has 2 poubelles, or trash cans, a big one here and 2 small ones there. And I love this. Our decorator, constructionist built this, and I think it just hung the moon. And they took 2 old ladders, and we hang our pots on it. I think it's fabulous. So if you notice, all around we have a lot of lamps. I think I counted 24, maybe it was 15, I don't know. But anyway, I love lamps. I don't like overhead lighting. I think it's very harsh and unkind to the people below. So I love soft lamps, and that's an antique that I found somewhere, and this is an antique in England that I found.
When we moved from England to Paris in 1988, we found an apartment, and we had to, you had no furniture in it, so we had to go get furniture. We decided we wanted to get a dining room table, so we went up to Clignancourt, north of Paris.
Big flea market.
And we bought, and we got this guy to make a dining room table for us. And this is the table that he made, and it's not very.
It's a cheapie.
And so interesting. We had IBM had a guy that was driving us around as he was helping us. So he and I drove up to Clignancourt. We lived in the middle of Paris, but he and I drove up to Clignancourt. We got this table, and we put it on the top of his car.
Turned it upside down.
And he and I drove from Clignancourt back down to our house in the 7th arrondissement.
Holding on to the
table, laughing all the way. It was incredible. And we moved, and we've kept this forever. It's a perfect size. It's
This size is killer because it can seat up to 10 people or 4. And that is really a winner.
we met in high school.
Oh, I have to tell this. Well, I'm in a carpool, Pratt, Joanne, Lucille, and Marsha. And we decided that we were going to do something special today. And Pratt said, oh, I'm dating Donnie Williams. I said, who in the hell is Donnie Williams? She said, oh, you know Donnie Williams. He's president of such and such. I said, no, I don't know him. I said, would you please introduce me? So we went up to the 3rd floor where the juniors had their lockers, put our books and pocketbooks in the locker, walked down to the 1st floor, big high school, and where the seniors were, because he was a year older, not really. And walking along the hallway, and she said, there he is, down there. And I took one look at him, and I thought, this is a keeper. And so that's how we met.
We were 16 when we met, and we dated all through the years up into our college years, and we finally got married when we were 19, and the rest is history, as you say. And it was great. We graduated and moved on in life. Welcome to our bedroom.
This is the main reason that we moved to this house, is because this bedroom was close to the living area, and it was on the ground floor. Hallelujah! No more steps to climb. I loved it. And I just got to say that I loved this piece of furniture. I bought it in England, and it was not very pretty. Somebody refinished it, made it into a beautiful table and a beautiful mirror. And I couldn't find any other place in the house to put it. And I thought, headboard. And it's done an admirable job here, being a headboard. And this is the painting I took from the 2 Russian brothers, the châteaux in Atlanta, Georgia, for 3 years, 3 hours a day, 3 days a week for 3 years. And this was the first time I got it, the first year, probably 3 months in, I got it. I understood what it takes to make a beautiful painting of a person. I mean, you know, the negative space is ever so important. The colors are ever so important. And you can leave it unfinished if you have the white, the light on the body not painted, and you just have the dark. So I'm very proud of this painting. It was painted in 1984. And after I finished these 3 years, I became a portrait painter, which I vowed I would never do. But I painted portraits for 12 years, and then I said, let's stop. And I did. But this is one of the paintings. This is Colleen's niece, and I love this painting. I love her pose. I love the light on her arm. I captured her, and I'm proud of it. So I had lived with it. Well, I don't think of a home being decorated until it has paintings on the wall. Lots of paintings. And I have paintings by other artists. My friend Colleen, there are 2 paintings there of hers. This is my master, Constantine Chatov, that he painted that painting, and I think it just kind of hung the moon. Not so much for the figure is perfect, but honestly, his division of space in the background is genius. I really admire him for this. This painting was I painted it in England. This was our little snug room. They didn't call them dens then, they called them the snug rooms, where the fireplace was and where the TV was. And we would head there in the late afternoon and to the late evening. And this was the image that I saw as I walked into the snug room. And it really captured me. And I was on my way to a gallery in Atlanta, Georgia with this painting to put it in the gallery. I thought, what am I doing? This is a huge memory of our time in England, so I brought it back home. Early on, when I was 23, 24 years old and started to paint, I wanted to be the best that I could possibly be. I wanted to be great. I wanted my name to go down in history as one of the greatest American Impressionists. So I decided early on, I'm not going to be a portrait painter after 12 years. I'm not going to be just a landscape painter. I'm not going to be just horse painting. I'm not going to be just interiors like Bonnard and Vuillard, my gods. I'm going to paint a little bit of everything. First of all, I love the challenge. I get off on a challenge. Oh, come on, Alice, you can do this. You can do this. And so I paint a lot of different subject matter. I never get bored because there's always a challenge. And I have, at 82, I have as much challenge in front of a canvas now as I did when I was 24.
Alice bought this table in England when we moved to England, and she bought it from a lady that was selling, she had a manor house, and that was the business she was in. So she bought it, and this is 1774. So this is a very, very old, it's incredibly old. And so when this comes off the back, so when Alice bought it, I said, well, don't worry, I can take these off and I can straighten them out. And everybody almost fainted when I said that, because that was the design of this thing over the years.
The lady that sold it to us said, Alice, if you do that, you are going to ruin the entire value of the piece. And so I didn't do it.
It's just been we love it. This room and the next room and the next floor up was the old part of the house. And when you walked into this room, there was a fireplace here, because apparently it was the living room. In the back side there was the boiler room, so it was a mess. So we took the fireplace out and we lowered the ceiling. And that's what you see here, because above the ceiling is where we ran all of the electrical wires and stuff.
For the upstairs.
And then we put these in. So we made this room, the flooring,
more intimate and more cozy and more charming because the ceiling is lower. Don and I are in Harriod, which is a little village, ancient village in Hampshire, in England. And we have the choice of living in London. IBM said London or the countryside, and we decided we'd get a more English taste of living in England if we lived in the countryside. Later on, after a couple of years, I had a good friend, Judith, and we both loved antiques, and we both went to old antique, cold as cold could be, churches on Sunday morning when London designers would come down and shop for antiques that people were selling. This was on the market. It's cool. It has all sorts of doors and windows and little hiding places. But it didn't bring much with the dealers in London, because it was wide, and English cottages are notoriously small. And it was too big for an English cottage. So Alice got it. And Judith got this beautiful table, oh my God. And when we decided we were going to go into business and sell them, and then it never came to pass. So I said, Judith, you want that table? And she said, yes. And I said, well, I want this bureau. So I got the bureau, she got the table, and we quit.
You know, the thing that I love most about my sweetheart here is that she is doing something over her life that she is totally, totally happy with. She's happy with her art. She's happy with gardening. She's happy with interior design. So for someone to find happiness is it's just incredible to me to watch that. And she watches me too, my happiness. I'm happy doing the things that I do, so.
I'm sorry, but you know, they say opposites attract, and it's so true because he is so left-brained. He's a mathematician. He's into astronomy, things that I never think about. And I am so visual and I'm so right-brained. It's a wonder I can talk. So it's true. Opposites do attract, and I think that's been one of our saving graces, is that we can live life and we're totally different. And I appreciate his acumen. Oh my God, he's such a smart dude. I'll never be that smart, but he appreciates me and my little what I do.
And you know, a lot of people say, "Gosh, y'all look so happy." Well, you know, we have our ups and downs and what have you, but one of the things that we've done over our many years is we forgive very easily and we move forward. And as I was saying to someone the other day, when we move forward, we don't look back. And that has been sort of the thing that has helped us navigate through 14 moves over our 60 years.
We figured, when we were first married, we figured out that if we said after a big argument, hey, let's start over. And so that became our motto to, you know, you say some things you wish you hadn't said, but after a while you say, let's just start over. And it works. It works like a charm.
She said a lot of things that you really shouldn't say.
Right off of our bedroom, we created this bathroom and laundry room. And it's quite a story because this place was horrible when we bought the house. This was the boiler room. There was a boiler that sat right there. The rest of it was just nasty. And so we needed a bathroom. And what better place, oh my God, did I learn, than to have the bathroom next to the laundry room. It is so friggin' convenient. I'll never live without another one that way. And the floor was another creation by Stephanie, because we had this wonderful old tile, we had this wonderful old tile, but we didn't have enough to do the whole thing, so we borrowed the design from the living room and had the colorful tiles go all the way in. Great closet space, beautiful old doors with, look, it's got screen on it. And Stephanie said to me, you know, you could replace it with glass. I said, no, I think it's a great idea. Your clothes can breathe. And this was a very high-end plumbing from Belgium. And Stephanie said, do you want it? And I said, are you kidding? Of course I want it. And so she put it in, and it was her idea to do the expensive little blobs of tiles between the less expensive blobs of tile. And I just love getting in this thing every morning. 2012, we arrive in Lourmarin. We're in a rented house. I don't want a rented house. I'm an artist. I want to design my own house. I want to design my own garden. So he goes back to America to play in a golf tournament, and I'm really ticked off. I go to Ile-sur-le-Sorgue, where you buy all manner of beautiful antiques. I found this chest of drawers and another one that's in the hallway, and I thought, I'm just going to buy it. And so I bought it, and it is, you know, it is Louis XIV. It's fabulous. So when we moved in here, I didn't have any place to put this beautiful piece of furniture. So I told Stephanie, I said, I want it to be my sink. And she found this bowl for me. But she said, Alice, are you sure you want to poke a hole in the top of this thing and make it a sink? And I said, there's no question. I've got to do it. And I love this, and the mirror and the lights. I love this. Well, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was such a compliment. it made us happy, and it made us kind of laugh because, you know, you never look at yourself and see yourself like other people see you. You always think of yourself in another way. And so social media was a learning experience for me. And Foster is unbelievable at putting together these short clips. I always used to say to her, slow it down, baby. It's going too fast. She said, oh, Babu, they love it that way. They love it when it goes fast. So she puts all these little tiny things together, and it tells a story, and it tells our story, and we are just
flabbergasted. But
we are pleased.
my experience over life has been in the technology field. I was with IBM for many, many years, and I can even remember back when we didn't have internet, and this was like 1990. So all of this social media has really sort of
bloomed.
It's so incredible to me, and I, quite frankly, I don't understand it as much as I would like to. But this was like 2.5 years ago that we got introduced to with our social media manager, our granddaughter Foster. We got introduced to the whole social media and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and what have you, and it was just mind-boggling to us as to how it took off.
Who wants to see Don Williams on a lawnmower, you know?
I do.
Welcome to our entryway. It's really not our entryway because this used to be the front door of the house, but we changed the whole thing around outside, and so it doesn't have a driveway going up to here anymore. It has a driveway going up there. But at any rate, it's a great entry hall. I love this piece right here. I kind of lifted it from the old house in Loire and brought it over, and I told Stephanie, I want to hang that thing. I want to hang it right here and hang jackets on it. She didn't say a word. She was standing here. She raised her arms, put it up over there, and I said, you're a friggin' genius. So I just done 2 portraits, $15,000 a piece. I was just really on a roll, and I was feeling wealthy, and we walked into an antique gallery right next to Linda Nichols' Knoxville, Tennessee gallery. And this table had just come off the truck. It was from Brazil. And this came from a historical place. And there were 2 tables in a hallway, one on one side, one on the other. And both tables were supposed to be put where they could go into a museum in Spain. Instead, one table got put over here, and one table got put over there. And this table got sold as an antique in America. And I happened to be along the morning it was getting off the truck, and I said, Don, I've got to have this table.
And we bought it.
Okay, so this is by Caroline de Gasquet, and she is the one I met in a sculpture class in Paris 40 years ago, and we are still close friends. She's 30 minutes from me in Aix. And Caroline and I love to paint together. We don't paint a thing alike. I appreciate her artwork. She appreciates mine. She was finished with this painting, and this is Maxence, her grandson, and her brother, maybe. And she called it Maxence Doesn't Like His Peas in French. But she decided that she needed some cows up here. So instead of painting them laboriously, she just took some charcoal and outlined cows in the matter. I love that about her. Every kitchen in old France had one of these. So this is very reminiscent of French. But I think this painting is pure genius. Number one, because of the tablecloth. The man, is he not charming? He's just precious. The coffee pot itself, the pattern on the walls, the white window, and look, she only put color right there. I think it's genius. Okay, so the floor was just fabulous, and Stephanie designed it, and I think I added these tiles, and she already had that. It's fabulous. The paint is called chalk paint, and it's not put on with a brush, it's put on with a spatula. It's very labor intensive, but oh my God, it gives a depth that you don't normally get with latex paint. This color was in Downton Abbey. I am sure of it as I'm standing here because Matthew married the blonde, or the strawberry blonde, and she got influenza, if you remember, in Downton Abbey, and she was laying in a bed dying in this beautiful, gorgeous bedroom. And this was on the walls, and I just flipped out over this color. I just could not get enough of it. And Mary's, the older daughter, that was such a, well, anyway, she was the older daughter. She had a bedroom that was red at the beginning. Red wallpaper, English wallpaper, unbelievable. Here's the old front door of the house. And I wanted to make a parterre out here, you know, an English parterre with roses and lavender. And at the end, I put this greenhouse that probably came from France or from England, and we have carried it all over the place, everywhere we've lived. So we placed it down there, put Italian cypresses on the way down, and this focal point, I'm very proud to say, is mine. But there is another one, and it's right here, and I had to have a fountain in my parterre, and so I found this very unobtrusive fountain. I didn't want any old statues going around, and so this was a focal point, this bedroom door, and I had to make an object the focal point, and that's the fountain. I'm really proud of that. Welcome to my studio. Here's where it happens, and I love this. This is the biggest, nicest studio I've ever had. This was a garage. The roof was too low. We took the roof off, raised the roof. We put in, this was gravel, old gravel. It was old, and put in concrete floor so I can spill paint on it all day long. Put in some skylights for the light, and put in all of this to house everything I need. So I see it at the drop of a hat. I see if I have the right size canvas, and I can go to work. This is my grandfather's bookcase. He was a lawyer in Virginia. He actually said to my mother when she was 6 years old, "Oh, Josephine, you don't have to go to school. You can just read my library and you'll be educated," which she did until the 4th grade. And finally at the 4th grade, they put her in a elementary school. And poor baby, she was lost. She's always been lost with arithmetic and math. She just could not get it because she didn't have the basics at the beginning. Anyway, he was a lawyer, and he was the nicest guy you've ever met. Many memories of me combing his silver hair and emptying his cigar ashtray as a little 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old girl. And he had all his law books in here. So when Mom passed away, I wanted this bookcase. It meant a great deal to me. And I've put all of Dawn's fabulous books and some of my fabulous books. And it's a treasure.
I read a lot of books.
Yeah.
A lot
On
of
quantum physics.
Well, I read a lot of books.
No, I don't get it. This is the glorious Mediterranean Sea. What more can you say? It's just a phenomenal body of water. It is deliciously the right temperature all the time. You can go swimming in it. Even in the wintertime, I know some people that go swimming. I did a great big huge one. I mean, it must have been 10 feet by 4 feet for commission for a gallery in Florida. Got it wrong. Made the water too dark. I had to do it again. And each time, Dawn had to make the canvas, because it was off-size quite large. So it was quite an endeavor. I'm so glad that that part's over with. And that is an interior. I love to do interiors, and real good friends who came to visit us in Loris when we first moved there. They both wanted to come and live in Provence. So they have since bought a house in Coucaron, renovating it big time, and they have bought this painting to go down a staircase. Okay, so I found a photograph of a restaurant in France, and I thought, oh, great cafe, great subject matter. Got it in, painted the whole floor, which was laborious to say the least. I would do a little cussing around here, but I'm not supposed to. It was too much. I asked the girl who sells my work in Loire, I said, Laurence, what do you think about it? She said, I think the floor is a little overpowering. So I touched it again. I put the red carpet in. Well, now the red carpet doesn't have any design, so I've got to decide. And I want to ask you, should I make the design white on the red rug? Oh, no. Maybe green? Oh, no. Maybe black on the red rug? Oh, no. I think I'm going to do this color right here on the red rug so that it will be not prominent, so that it will just kind of disappear. This box goes back a long way. It's probably 40 years old. We probably made it, although we had some made in Mexico, we had some made somewhere else, and we had some in Atlanta made by an architect, an ex-architect. It's got a pallet board that's got a piece of masonite, very heavy, so it doesn't wobble, and shellac, sprayed on it, dried, sprayed on it, dried, sprayed on it again. And it's impervious. I've used it over 40 years, and it's just beginning to lose its shellac. But at any rate, all my paintings, all my colors are out here. There's a certain order, so I don't have to think about where raw umber is. I know where it is. It's been there for about 50 years. I don't have to think about yellow because I know the deep yellow is here, the medium, the light. I'm always using a lot of white. I put it on out to here. This is fabulous because it holds all the paint, holds all the brushes. I've got two, one for big brushes, one for small brushes, two things of mineral spirits that I can refresh. So one is always clean and one is not so clean. Paper towels at the drop of a hat. This and this to clean the palette. And this to squeeze the last ounce out of the tubes. And I'm set. Social media has enabled us to record me in the process of creating a painting. Okay, so this is a postcard I bought at the store, and I like the subject matter, and I thought my clients would like the subject matter. So I started to paint it, but the problem was I had a bad shoulder. I'm left-handed, and oh, my shoulder hurt so bad. So I decided that I would paint mostly right-handed. I'm left-handed, mind you. Accidents make a painting. I found this out again after 50 or 60 years. Accidents really make a painting. This painting says accidents are beautiful.
So you did that right-handed?
So I did most of it right-handed. And the Mediterranean Sea is also right-handed. So when I was creating my studio, Stephanie and I really think along the same lines. And I said, Stephanie, I've got to have a stone sink. And she said, Alice, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And I said, well, how much? And she said, $350, $380. I said, oh, Stephanie, I can't do it. She called me a week later and she said, I found one. I said, how much is it? And she said, 30 euros. I said, why? And she said, well, it had holes in the sink. So she just filled it up with concrete. This is my brother Ed. I loved him dearly, and we were 2 years apart. He was older, but he'd always come up and say, this is my older sister. What do you say to that? Anyway, long and short, when I was planning on doing portraits, I was into the portrait business. I gave both my brothers a Christmas present of a self-portrait. And Ed and I had a wonderful time, him modeling for me and me painting him. And this is my treasure. I lost him at 50. He was 54 and he took his life because he suffered from depression. He just means a great deal to me. So now he's just kind of watching over me.
Let me start out with the definition of our mornings. I usually get up and go to my office. In my office, I have 3 offices, and they're in 3 different villages. They're in Ossuy, Lumeron, and Coucaron. And they actually are cafes, but I call them my office because that's where I go and I drink coffee. And I have my 3 cups of coffee and I do my computer work. And then I turn around and I come back home, probably 10:30 in the morning. And I drive up the driveway and I see Alice somewhere in the garden because she's typically in the garden. And I wave to her and then we turn around and we both end up in one of our 2 or 3 places in the garden and have a coffee together. And that's how we begin our day.
So typically when he's gone off to have his coffees in his office, first thing I do is get a cup of coffee, and I like it cold, so he makes it for me before, and I come in and get my cold cup of coffee, and I go out in the garden and I sit in one of 3 places I'll show you. And that's my dessert for the day because I get to see what I did yesterday. And then after a couple of cups of coffee, I go into my studio and I lose all sense of time. I feel very safe, comfortable, challenged, excited to create my next painting. Okay, as I said, I was a I studied portraiture under Roman and Constantin Château, who were 2 old Russian masters in Atlanta, Georgia, when I met them. They were probably 78 and 82. And I studied from them for 3 years, 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. And this is a Roman Château that my friend Sissy McCord said, "Oh, Alice, I found a Château, but it's the wrong colors for me. Do you want it?" And I thought, of course I want it. So I bought it. But this was a painting that I did in the Château class, and the model was terrible. He was red-haired. He wasn't that pretty. And he kept moving. And so I thought, I'm not going to have to deal with this. But his girlfriend was sitting over on the side reading magazines. And I said, is there any way possible that you could just pose? You don't have to do anything. Just sit in the chair and read your magazines and I'll paint you. And man, did it go well. I loved it. And this is a painting of a Spanish man who lived in Loire. He had the most gorgeous eyes you've ever laid your eyes on. I said, "Can I paint you?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "I've got great music." And he said, No, I'm bringing my own music." So he brought his own music, which was fantastic. And stupid me, I got him reading a book so he wouldn't look at me, so I never captured his eyes. My mother, there wasn't no vacant wall in her house. She had painting everywhere. And I grew up with paintings all around me. I'm sure that influenced me a huge amount. And one time my brother and I were up in the attic just messing around, seeing what my mother used to have. And we found this painting. And I thought, God, that is a really interesting painting. So I went down to the kitchen and I said, "Mom, this painting in the attic, who is it?" And she said, "That, my darling, is your father's ex-girlfriend." Provence, the weather is just absolutely fabulous because you have a winter. Yes, you do. In fact, it has snowed probably 2 times in 15 years for us. But the spring, summer, and fall, with the exception of August when it gets really hot and humid, God, it's fabulous. I mean, the weather is, you don't have to have screens on your windows. You don't have to close your door and have air conditioning 100% of the time. I hate air conditioning. It's wonderful just to be able to open the doors or close the doors if it's hot, and close the shutters if it's real, real hot.
Well, the weather is great, but also we found that the people here are incredible in this area. And this area attracts so many people from France, especially a lot from the Paris area. They come down, they have a lot of people have second homes here. Belgians, Dutch, they come to this area, and they're so nice. But one of the things that is so amazing to me is they don't put on airs. They don't. You could have the. I spoke one time for a half hour to a guy at a picnic one time, and finally I said to him, "Well, what do you do?" And which is something you don't do over here. And he said, "Oh, I'm the chairman of the board of Galleries Lafayette." And they own 85% of the whole total retail business in France. And I said, gosh, that's, but I would never have known that talking to him. He was just like, you know, your next door neighbor. So it's the people, it's the weather, it's just the attitude, and you can be away from a lot of the whole world events that are very troubling.
Yeah. I gotta say that when we drove up to this property and we could not see the house at all because of all the trees around it, I got out of the car and I was talking to my daughter, who's very spiritual, and I said, holy cow, I feel something spiritual here. And she said over the phone, because she's very spiritual, she said, I feel it too. And so I said to Dawn, this is it, this is the house. And we hadn't even seen the house, but I knew that this was the place where I wanted to live.
So I did say to her, she turned around, she got out, she was doing the phone with Christine, and she said that, this is it. And I said, well, don't you think you'd like to see the house first? And she laughed, and we drove on up through the trees, and you'll see what she's done with the garden and the house, and it's incredible.
This is the second floor of our house, and I made every bedroom a different color. This is the yellow room, and of course everybody knows it's the yellow room. And I just want to say that this is one of the hardest yet easiest paintings I ever did, because I was standing right here over her head. She was laying on a flat thing, and I consider this one of the best paintings I've ever done. She wanted to earn some money, and so she modeled for me. I paid very well when I needed a model. I'm bonkers over light blue, and I love this throw fabulously. This is early on in my career. I can tell it because nothing is finished. It's all a work in progress. And if we could all paint like a work in progress, we would sell a lot of paintings because they turn out to be much better. And I just love this painting. So the windows were here, but we decided to put, of course we put new windows in, but we made them chocolate brown, and that was a pretty new thing in Provence at the time. This was 3 years ago, yeah. But I love the chocolate brown. And there were two windows here, and I got really upset when they took one of them out, but I love that window right there. I think it's so sweet. It's so European, isn't it? This is a sweet side table that I love this piece. It's just a simple pine chest, but it's got so many marks of use, and it's even missing a knob, but missing two knobs now, but I love this piece. From upstairs, and Stephanie found some really awesome light fixtures. This is one of my favorites because of the blue in it. I just absolutely love it. Had to paint this a different color from all the bedrooms, so I chose a blue, a light blue. what's not to know about me. And the shower is pretty awesome. So this is my favorite view of all the places in my house because I get to see my garden from above and analyze all the right things and wrong things I've done. But you see the mountains in the distance, the Luberon Mountains, which are magnificent. And the light changes on them, and so they turn from ultramarine blue to pale dark green. Or I love this view, and we get to see the white vines being harvested, because they have to be harvested at 1 o'clock in the morning or during the night for some reason. I don't know why. But we looked out one night in the fall of the first year we were here, and we saw trucks and lights in the middle of the night all over that vineyard. So this is our African bedroom because we spent many, many years in Kenya because of Christine's business, selling luxury safaris to Kenya and Tanzania. And these are paintings that I created in Africa. One of my favorites is this one because I used to go into the building where the girls would knit rugs for the plantation, and they would always be a painting. Absolutely fabulous to watch them climb up the loom as they wove something. And this is one of my favorite subject matters because it's the African women all dressed in different beautiful clothes, colorful, always colorful clothes. And I don't know, I like my depiction of the mountains. This is one of my favorite African animals. The zebras are fabulous. And if you go out in the field, I've been out many times, set up, tried to paint them, and they just run off. And so they're not good subject matter, but I love to paint them. This is the blue room, and I just love it because it's chalk paint, and you have a relief of 2 or 3 different values on it, and I just love chalk paint. I don't know where I've been that I haven't seen it in a long time. And this is a painting by Constantine, I think. No, this is by Roman Chatov. I think it's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. That is just, I mean, everything about it. And this is a painting a nude I did in the Chatov class. And they were teaching me about color, and I've always admired what I did with the color of the background. This is an interesting thing. The French used to build the ceiling curved like this and not have the painting to the top. And so I said, Stephanie, let's just make it like the French made it, the same way. So this is a fabulous pair of antique tables that a French friend of mine said, my wealthy husband's aunt has just died and there's furniture all over the place and you really need to go and pick out some things. So I did. I picked out these 2, another chest of drawers and a glass coffee table, a glass dining room table that we use outside to eat on. It was a great trip. Back in the 80s when we moved to Atlanta, Georgia, I found a place called Turner something. And Helen Deasy had an antique shop. She got antiques in from Europe, mostly from England. And God, they were fabulous. They were just, you know, a find and not expensive. They didn't have everything perfectly correct. That's the way I like things. And so I bought this one day. I love it. Okay, welcome to our garden in Provence. So, of course, this was all built new, so we had to have a terrace, and there was much discussion about how deep and how long and so on and so forth. But when we first moved here, we were living upstairs while they renovated downstairs. And we had a lot of oriental rugs that I'd inherited from my family, so we just put all the oriental rugs out on the gravel and put our seating, and we would spend the afternoons, because it's cool, it's shady in the afternoon here. And I always have that memory of these oriental rugs getting wet when it rained, but they came in handy. So it was all trees. It was all scrub trees all over this property, and we knocked them all down except for that big one there and the line of chêne or oak coming down the driveway. And I've always wanted an oak covered driveway that approached the house, and I got it this time. I was so excited. These are iceberg roses. They bloom all summer long. They're in America too. But they are fabulous. Roses do really well here because they love the alkaline soil. All of the east coast of America is acid soil, so you cannot grow a sasanqua or an azalea or hortensia here unless you put it in a pot with acid soil. If you put it in the ground, it will die. Anyway, we have irises. They call them bleu clair in French, and I absolutely love them. And I'm trying my best at peonies, but some don't do well and some do great. The mountains are over there, and of course the land gradually goes down. So in order that a flood didn't come and flood our swimming pool, we decided to raise this whole thing right here so that it would be higher and the water would flow down through here or flow over there. Worked out pretty good. Don's and my idea, we had to have a pool, but we couldn't afford a real expensive tiled pool. But in Provence, they now can come, dig a hole, the perfect dimensions, and the next day they show up with a plastic filler, and it fits perfectly in the hole they've dug. And then they put the mechanism on, and this is salt water and heated. So it is bliss to get in this thing when it's kind of chilly outside and you got it set at a nice temperature. I love this pool. It's a great air conditioner. This is Damien's statue, and it cost a pretty penny. But once he'd done it, I thought, I gotta have it. And we had quite a demonstration in another house in Loire when he delivered it, and we've had bottles of champagne, and we toasted the Grande Dame who sits in front of the pool. And he brought me some stuff to clean it up, but I love things to look old, so I've not cleaned it yet. And there's a great discussion about if I ever leave this place, would I take it with me? And I will definitely take it with me. I love stone statues. I can't afford the big ones, but that girl with her hair down in her face, and then the horse. And this was done by Tina Watson, who was quite a sculptor in Atlanta, Georgia. And I love this sculpture. But for some reason here, I didn't have room to put it on a table, so I put her at the end of the pool. Isn't she nice? I'm standing in front of under an almond tree. See? And they're fabulous. They are pale pink in the wintertime. They're they announce that spring is coming, and they are two different kinds. One is white and one is pink. I adore the pink, so I have chosen pink here. Okay, so the Mistral comes, and when I first got here, Colleen's husband said, I detest the Mistral. And I thought, why? It's just a wind. What's wrong with the wind? And then I realized why. Because a Mistral only lasts 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9 days. Okay, no even days does it last. And by the 9th day, if you get a real strong Mistral, you're so sick of it because it knocks over vases, it knocks over tablecloths, it knocks over trees. It's not a friendly friend. And welcome to my cuisine d'été, or our pool house. We spend many of fabulous lunch here because it's constructed with insulated concrete block. And so therefore, if you open the windows, it's great cross breeze, and we have wonderful lunches here with lots of friends. I love this ceiling. I think Stephanie did an absolutely fabulous job, and I had no idea it was being done. She just did it. And I had a armoire that I bought in France when I first got here. I love this armoire. It's about to lose its coat of paint, but I love the two colors together. And so Stephanie helped me place this and place the two windows on either side. This is pretty cool. Oh, the mistral is blowing, but this is fabulous because you get to see my neighbor's vineyards, who keeps them very, very neat. And our cherry trees, we had 9, now we're down to about 7. But I love this bathroom. I love the fact that Stephanie put these doors there. It's 4 panels, but you can open it up all the way, and it's almost like you're outside when you're inside. Well, so the tall part of the house was the original part. We threw away some of the small things that were poking out this way, and we added that whole extension. And in France, it's very desirable to have old tiles, not new tiles. So these are all old tiles. What it impresses me a lot, and so are the tiles on this. And it's also, there is a architectural thing, is 3 rows of tile foundation. The copper gutters are hiding it, but it's always very chic to have those 3 rows, or so I understand. Wow, home is your nest. Home is where you feel the most comfortable. Home is where you're good.
Home to me is not a physical thing. It's a more of a spiritual place where you meet all the spirits, and it becomes your home if all the spirits are in accord. And that's what has happened with us, is we're in accord, and so our home is basically wherever we are. And that's attested by the fact that we've been many different places over the years.
Thanks for watching. Go to Homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.